All right. I think we're good. We got Ryan Meir here. What is up, everyone? How are you all doing? How are you doing, Ryan? How are you doing today?
Oh, my God. I got to echo like mad.
You got an echo? Oh, do you have the volume on your end? Or are you hearing echo from me?
The volume on? Both of us.
Why do you have an echo? That's weird. Do you guys hear an echo out there? Do you guys have an echo going on?
Why is this?
Hey, for the first time ever, it's not me, guys. For the first time. I can hear it on your end, too, coming back. Well, while he's doing that, how's everyone doing? Hey, Joe, how you doing?
Oh, my God.
Hey, Davey, how you doing? I hear you faintly echoing from Ryan's. Yeah, he has it coming through something. I'm not sure. Do you have the video up? Maybe mute the video on YouTube. That's probably what's being picked up.
Jesus Christ, mute my... It's going through my headphones.
Or maybe your headphones have a little bleed and it's picking up my voice because I'm too loud. Hey, Bilby. Hey, Lord Verator. Hey, Lehman Cook. We're getting started here. We're going to wait. Kenny Harris says we are his favorite two reactors. I appreciate it,
I don't know
what
to do.
I'm trying to... let's try a test. Unplug your headphones and let's see if we hear it come back. I mean, probably won't. It sounds like you're having the same issue my buddy Joey has, and he has the same microphone. I don't hear myself anymore. It's not doubling. So I think your headphones are bleeding.
How's that?
Oh, now I really hear it. Turn
Jesus
down.
Christ, everything's gone to shit.
It's all good, man. It's all good. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it not being me for once. Oh, look at this. We got Mr. Ryan's channel right here. Make sure you go check it out. Subscribe. What is up, Ray?
Is it my camera?
I'm not sure which speaker that's coming through. Is that coming through your headphones? I
apologize.
I think it's coming through the headphones, if I'm not mistaken.
My headphones are unplugged.
Oh, they're unplugged.
Hold up. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. You sound great, like sound-wise.
It's really delayed.
It's really delayed?
Oh.
Oh, no, it's going to be delayed on YouTube. That's natural. This is perfect. We're giving people a chance to come in. So, like Teresa said, they're used to it. Guys, it was literally sounding good before we got on. That's the funny part. That is the funny part.
Hello?
Yeah.
No
That's
echo?
good. No echo. It's faint.
It's my sheer ignorance as to using these things and doing interviews. I had the internet on the same laptop, and it was...
That's what it was. I knew it was
That's
something.
what it was.
Okay. That's what I figured. I did that one time. I was doing the baby metal dance, and I'm like, why is there an echo? They got an infinite loop, and I had our video playing on the computer, so I had a feeling it was that. That's what I was saying. I was like, you should see if you saw the video up. But no worries.
If it went smoothly, it wouldn't be something that I was doing.
I've been through that. It's a pain. It sucks. You get used to it, though.
Did we lose everybody?
No, we didn't lose everybody. They were waiting patiently. How's everyone doing today? Doing good. I hope you're all doing out of the chat. So we start. We're just going to break the ice and do this little rapid round like I like to do because do some funny editing. First of all, we're supposed to be exposing you today. If you read in the title, our clickbait title, who is your favorite member of BAND-MAID?
Kami.
Yeah, I kind of already knew.
I was thinking about this before. I'm like, he's going to ask me, and with BAND-MAID, it's always a round of initial thoughts, and then your mind automatically goes to the skills of all the other members. So it's like a vicious cycle. But it's first in my mind is always Konami.
Yep. Yeah,
I'm a little biased, guitar wise, but she's just incredible.
All right, so we'll do this rapid round. What's your favorite food?
Okay, sorry.
What's your favorite food?
Chicken fettuccine Alfredo.
Wow. That's the most complex answer I've ever gotten. Just kidding. There's a lot of words in that one.
And I said them all correctly.
Who's your favorite singer?
Jesus.
Right now. Who's your favorite singer right now?
Lane Staley, Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Oh, man. Awesome singers. Awesome singers. Who's your favorite guitarist right now?
Again, Konami. Yeah.
Where's your favorite place to write lyrics for your music?
Wherever I'm at. Usually they hit me pretty fast. I don't usually sit and think about it, so it's like on whatever I can grab and just write it down.
Oh.
And I'll flesh them out like, at the dining room table. I'll sit down and write them, but
So it's just whenever it comes to your brain, you're like, all right, I don't care. Put the whole world on pause. I'm writing lyrics.
Yeah. If there's no paper around, I'll grab my phone and find a little notes thing. And yeah. And people are like, what are you doing? Like, shut up.
I always feel like the lyrics I feel flow better when I write it on paper for some reason.
Yeah.
When I do it on a phone, I don't know. It doesn't work. Like I'll even sing them into the phone, but then I'm like, then it's it. I only sing one line. But if I have a piece of paper and I'm writing with a pen, write cursive, I'll write, and all of a sudden I just start, whoosh, and then it's like 4 pages of bullshit that I have to condense.
I think it's the permanence of writing it down. Like, if you have problems about things, you can write stuff down, and it kind of gives you your brain like the illusion that it's not your problem anymore because you wrote it down. Like you put it somewhere else. Maybe it's just a permanence thing with once you write them down, it's like, okay, that's the right lyric,
Yeah, that's true. What member inspires you the most from BAND-MAID? I already know the answer to this, but let's. I should have came up with a different question there.
Might be surprising though, because I think Misa.
Misa, okay.
Because the way I've said before, she changed the way I look at not just bass playing, but just playing in the environment of a band. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the whole band's done that, but I've never heard anybody play bass like she does. And then if she was doing it on guitar, it would be just as cool. Yeah.
Later on in this conversation, I have so many things to talk to you about with Misa and the style of Konami and Misa's playing. But we'll get into that. What is your favorite BAND-MAID song right now?
Daydreaming.
Daydreaming? All right.
Yep.
What is your favorite song to sing live?
See Me As I Am by Myself.
Awesome. What is your favorite guitar to play?
Electric, my G&L ASAT Tribute.
Yes, somebody that has a G&L. Fuck yes. So you know the story behind G&L. I was explaining this to my mentor yesterday about G&L.
Oh yeah, I know all about it.
Yeah.
And
go ahead.
Acoustic, the Alvarez I just got.
Oh, nice. What is your favorite? Well, I already asked that. What's your favorite song to play? I guess guitar-wise, have you played in a band? Like where obviously you played in a band, but are you currently playing in a band, or are you just doing solo stuff?
No, just on my own stuff.
Doing your own stuff.
To play with the band, it's funny because the first thing that pops up is I only played it one time, so I don't know if that counts as my favorite thing to play. The thing I played the most was blues, playing Hendrix and Stevie Ray Vaughan with the bands I had. But the most fun I had playing a cover was "You Know You're Right" by Nirvana, mm-hmm. in a 3-piece I had with my Jag Stang, and I never heard anybody else play it, and nobody ever heard anybody else play it, and I totally let loose in that night. It was awesome.
Oh, that's awesome. You're right.
There's no recording of that.
That's right. I haven't heard anyone do that as a cover. You Know You're Right. So we're done with the rapid round. That's fun. But
okay.
Yeah, back to what we were talking about. But I don't know if you know, I just started learning how to sing 3 years ago. So now I perform every Sunday live on Twitch. But it's been a crazy journey trying to learn how to sing. So when I was hearing you sing, by the way, you have an amazing voice. I really love it. Love the tone of your voice. He's going to play something for you all today. He just found out 15 minutes before he came on. Like, hey, man, you want to play something? And you said yes, so I appreciate you saying yes. I appreciate
Trying to get my hands warmed up.
Yeah, people don't know. You have to do stretches and stuff now because, like, now when you go on stage, you're like, you can't do those runs as fast. You got to, you got to work it out a little.
Remember lyrics? I literally had to write down the lyrics from the song. I'm like, what did I say?
Yeah, it's been my goal to learn like about 3 songs a week to throw on my song list for Twitch, and it's been fun.
A lot, dude.
It's been fun though, just like going back to old songs that I love that I always admired the vocals and stuff, and just being able to like redo the songs again and recover them. Like, so I did a couple yesterday. I've been working on the Baby Metal one, and then I just did a Green Day one yesterday. So I was like, that was
Baby
cool.
Metal one, and you're singing stuff.
Yeah, I'm doing the English version of the one. So,
dude, I thought about. I have a couple songs, Bandmate songs I want to do. And I'm like, should I? It's hard to fit English words into the phrasing that they use with the Japanese language. It's difficult. Yeah,
luckily Sue has a good template for me, so I'm gonna add some words to it. Like I said, it's going to be my tribute to it. Like, it's not going to be exactly the same. Obviously, I can't sing that high and all that good stuff. But, yeah, that's what I like doing with covers. I just like doing my own interpretation lately of it. I mean, that's the one thing I regret with the Bandmate cover that we did. I really wish I changed it up a little bit more. But it was our first cover. So Bandmate was the first band we covered on the channel, Japanese-wise. And I was like, I just kept it to the original. I added a little bit more stuff to the solo, but very little. And then when we did Maximum Hormone, I just let it loose. I just let it loose. I wrote a solo for it. I wrote a second riff. Baby Metal, I went crazy on. I think Bandmate was just like ripping the Band-Aid off, like to get the confidence to do it, you know? So since people liked it, I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to start adding some shit to it. I'm going to start doing stuff. So like the Baby Metal one, I added an ending solo, added leads, added extra riffs, stuff like that to Doki Doki Morning. Cool. Have you heard that song?
No, I have not.
Oh man, you should check it out and check out ours afterwards. See what you think.
So you said you started learning singing about last 3 years?
Yeah. Yep. I recorded a cover a year ago. I did a Fastball out of my head, and I recorded Stone Temple Pilots. Very ambitious songs to try to do, but I did it, and oh my god, I was horrible. I'm still horrible, but I'm trying.
Was there so you had to learn to sing and play then? Mm-hmm. Was that the issue, or was it you didn't sing at all?
No, I never sing because a lot of people told me that it was impossible to learn how to sing. So I always had it in my head that you can't do it, and I didn't sound good either. I didn't sound good either, and I was like. And then one day I said, fuck it, I'm going to just do it. And then I just went crazy every day for the first year. These last 2 years, it's hit and miss. Like, I had to take these past 4 days off because of all the freaking videos. But
sorry, who would say it's impossible to learn to sing? That's like saying it's impossible to learn how to drive a car.
That's what I say. That's what I say.
I mean,
like,
I learned to play guitar. I learned to sing.
Yeah.
I mean, some people may be better than others, but you know what I mean?
It's just singing I wasn't naturally as good at. Not saying I was naturally as good on guitar, but guitar did come to me fairly quickly.
Oh, right on.
But I guess you could consider vocals coming to me fairly quickly. I mean, my buddy Kevin, who did the vocals on our last EP, I mean, he said it took him 6 years till he sounded good. So wow. I was like, and then there's always room for improvement, right? So what I've been doing is I always feel like I'm racing time. So I've been just cramming it in, like every moment I can practice, like in the car, whatever. And that's what I did with guitar. Guitar was playing like 12 hours a day in the beginning. From when I was 16 till I joined the military, I was almost 12 hours a day, and then it was 2 months of not playing while I was in basic training. But
let me ask you this: when you started playing and singing. I'll tell you what made the connection for me, because I had a friend at the time. He was keeping his drum set at a house I was staying at, so I messed around with him Like if I sat down at a drum set and just fucked around, you'd be like, damn, this dude can play. But if I like in a band setting, it's completely different. He can fuck around and sound cool.
Yeah.
But if like it's different than playing drums with a band. Yeah. But when I started to figure out how to get the hands working independently and your feet and everything, then I tried to start singing and playing. To me, it was like akin to playing drums. Like your vocal rhythm has to fit in within your guitar rhythm, and then that kind of, for me, I'm like, oh, that's how it works. Like that's what made it click for me. I don't know if you're playing drums.
For me, it was a different struggle, and mind you, okay, so this last 3 years of singing seriously, when I did drums, I actually did sing on a plane while playing drums, but like the pitches were pretty awful. But my biggest issue with singing was the pitches. I don't know why. Like everybody would tell me to like, you fucking play guitar and you play bass and you play piano. Like, how do you not have pitches? I didn't have them. I just didn't. So 3 years ago, I took piano serious because I never was really good at it. I still not, but I can play pretty well enough to fake it, I guess you could say. So I learned piano and vocals at the same time to get my pitches correct. And then I would I would learn how to play all the melodies on guitar, and then I would just keep matching my pitch to it. And once I got the pitch down, now I'm much better with it. Now my issue is I hate the sound of my voice, the tone of my voice. But
did Jimi Hendrix.
Huh?
So did Jimi Hendrix. He hated it. He hated his voice.
Oh yeah, last week I covered 2 Jimi Hendrix songs. That's what I did last week. I love Jimi Hendrix.
Nice.
My favorite.
I should check out some of your videos.
It's not online. I do it on Twitch.
Oh, right on. Okay.
I haven't recorded those yet. I've only recorded those 2 other covers, but they're like I said, it's me just starting off. It was like probably a year and a half in or something like that doing vocals. So, well, how did you learn how to sing? When did you start?
Let's go back. I started playing guitar, I think it's 15. Yeah. And I just played, self-taught, played by myself for years. And then I moved up to South Bend, Indiana, which is like, maybe 30,000 people, which is tiny for everywhere else, but it's bigger than where I'm from. So anyway, I went into a pawn shop and picked up a guitar and started playing it. And then I picked up a different kind of guitar, started playing it, just fucking around. And if it was a jazz style, I'd play something jazzy and etc. And the guy's like, well, here, play this. And he'd give me another guitar and I'd play it. And then there's a few people standing around watching me. And he's like, you should come to my acoustic open jam. I'm like, I don't really play acoustic that much. He's like, it's okay. I got a nice guitar. You'll like it. So I went to the Wander Inn. Mm-hmm. Clever name. And this guy had a
very clever name.
He had his acoustic open mic on Sundays, and he had a Crafter, beautiful Crafter guitar. And I played my little instrumental stuff, which I had words, but I wasn't about to sing in front of people. And I went, I think, 2 weeks in a row. And the second week, this guy who played in another local band, he's like, hey, he goes, you sing, don't you? I'm like, yeah. He goes, next week you sing. I'm like, oh, okay. So I went back the next week. I'm playing my instrumental stuff, and then you get like 3 songs. So the second one stops. He goes, hey, you said you'd sing. I'm like, oh man, am I weird? I'm like, all right. So I just played a song and sang, and people loved it. I was like, oh, cool.
Well, the cool thing is your talking voice, like you can kind of tell, like you're gonna have this cool tone to your singing voice.
I think I kind of battered it into this shape because I wasn't singing correctly for a long time.
Ah, okay.
And I was doing a lot of. I'd sing like Stevie Ray Vaughan, and my mom would be like, "Why do you sound so mad?" Because it was just like, ah. And I'm like, I don't know. Listen to Stevie play. He sounds like he's pissed off too, But it was a lot of shredding my voice, and then I kind of the last couple of years I figured out how to sing properly without destroying my vocals.
Maybe that's what I got to do. Maybe I got to destroy my vocals.
Just a little bit. Not too much.
Just a little bit. I don't know. Thanks, Sarah Moldetz. He's like, we hate it too. And I said, I hate my own voice. Dick. And then, okay, so after that, so you started singing in the band. Then what happened after that?
Well, then I'd always written for like an electric feel. Even though I wasn't in a band, it's always like, distortion, solos, whatever. So then I started to focus more on song structure because the guy that was hosting it he was brilliant. His name is David Dance, and brilliant. He would do his interpretations of very good songs, and he covered a lot of ground with the guitar, and that kind of opened my eyes. Like, wow, you can do a lot more than what I was doing. It's not just power chords and whatever. So I started to focus more on song structure and writing songs for that aspect of it. So that got me started. Like songwriting came from me just playing riffs with words on them to like writing songs. There's a distinction there, I guess.
Yeah.
And then some people there would notice, say, hey, talk to so-and-so. They're looking for a guitarist. And then I hooked up with a few bands, many bands over many years. And
gotcha.
They never really went anywhere, but it was fun.
Dude, I don't know if this happened to you. I had so many close calls. Like, I was in a punk band first. We had really big gigs. And, of course, it was at the end of the punk scene. I was playing bass and never made it in. Like, we're so close. We're about to make it, and then we're, like, opening for NoFX and stuff like that. Famous punk bands back then. And Rise Against. Like we were going places. Failed. I was in another band, Squaratra Vita. We opened up for POD, Chevelle. We were about to get an offer to go with them, and then failed. I'm like, the singer quit to do dubstep on that one. I think honestly, he just didn't like it. Some people, I didn't realize this till later in life, but I guess he was struggling with something else. He was like, I'm not going to talk about the business, but he was struggling, right? So, and I think the idea of having that much attention just scared the shit out of him. So, he just quit. But he told us it was to do dubstep at the time. So, at the time, we were all pissed. We're like, what? You're quitting to do this? Because he's a really phenomenal singer. He had, like, this Eddie Vedder vibe going on with his voice and stuff. But, yeah.
Hell yeah, man. There was never anything close. I played in three-piece stuff, and we played regularly. The closest to anything, and this is... I'd rather not really even talk about it, but I was part of a modern country band, the last one. And it was a case of, it was friends of mine that played in a pretty decently well-known band around here called Straightaway. And the 90s, they were huge. They had like a crew, and they'd set up video screens and all this shit, and they would do really well. And I didn't really have touch with them for a while, and then I got in touch with them again, like, hey, we need a guitar player. They asked me a few times, and I could always turn it down as either just work or whatever, in my own band, whatever, so I wouldn't join. I'm like, hey, yeah, I'll do it. So I show up to practice, and they're like, we're going to play this song. And it's like country songs. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? I don't listen to this stuff. Like, no, it's just it helps out, man. We're going to play some old stuff too. You'll dig it. They lied. We played some of the old rock and stuff, and it got fizzled out. But I was having fun playing the songs, and we were working on original stuff. And we did for Notre Dame football, I think it was their home games. We did like the opening song for that. Recorded video up at Notre Dame. We recorded a couple videos that the bass player kind of funded, and we didn't like capitalize on it. And it just I got tired of playing this music I didn't really like. I didn't realize I was making excuses for like why I was still in the band.
Gotcha.
I'm like, yeah, time to go.
Yeah, do something different. And then you just ended up doing solo stuff afterwards?
Well, I continued to write, and my family's like, well, like for Christmas, well, why don't we just make us record some of your songs? And I was like, all right. I did it a few years ago before that, and they were really rough, but they liked them. So I had better equipment, so I thought, well, I'll do an album for them. And I had almost all new songs. So I put a lot of time into it, learned a lot, and recorded it. And then I was like, this is actually really good. I went to record at Nimblewit Studios in Goshen. Nate Butler runs that. Great guy. Has a band called Shiny Shiny Black, which has one of my favorite songs ever, called Another Way Up the Mountain. Mm-hmm. And I went and recorded with him a song, and I learned so much during that I applied that to all my other songs. Oh. And So in doing that, I'm like, man, this actually sounds pretty good. So I had like a bar to hit, and I got really close. So when I got done with recording for them, I took that same stuff and I went through, CD Baby and got it put out. And I'm like, well, not a lot of people listen to it, but people are listening to it in Scotland and like Indonesia.
Since you started the channel, has it kind of like boosted the listens up a little bit for you?
Somewhat. I'm it was a long game. Once I started, I wasn't getting like shit for views for any original stuff, not for anything really. And then it was Nightwish and Bandmate kicked me off, and then it's a video I put out with myself 6 months ago might get 95 views. Now if I do it,
it's a little bit more.
Now it'll get more. It'll get 1,000, which is a lot. I mean, it's a lot different. So I'm not going to be like, well, now I'm just going to do original stuff. I know it ain't going to work. And it's I love doing the videos I do. So I'm just trying to balance it out.
Honestly, this is the equivalent to back in the day when you would play a bunch of covers live and then you throw a couple originals in, right? Because nobody really wanted to hear your originals yet. You got to get them sold on the covers, and then that's normally the marketing. That's the way I look at it. Like you do the covers, you put your own spin on it, you make it sound awesome, and then you also shoot out an original. Because if they like your cover a lot, they'll definitely might check out your original. I think that's what's happening with you. Is like you show that you play guitar. Like for example, the Giovanni breakdown, which was awesome to watch. And like, then people see that you play and then they go check it. We were just talking about before this. My mistake is I kind of laid off of the music technical aspects, and I wish I didn't as much. I wish I kind of dived deeply. So now our channel turnaround, we're going to be going more heavy into talking about the music, bringing out the guitar and stuff like that. So that's something I really liked about how you're doing your channel.
Like the thing with me was that the music I write is so completely fucking removed from anything I've been looking at or reviewing that it's all, and it's not even, I don't listen to music like what I write at all. I don't listen to folky blue, I just don't. Yeah. I love playing it. And when I write, that's kind of how it comes out. So the stuff I like, I make music, and then people are like, well, this isn't at all like what what we thought you would kind of write. I got heavy stuff that it's a lot harder to like record a heavy thing and put it out as opposed to doing an acoustic vocal thing.
Yeah. I'm nervous about this cover I'm putting out. I did a Lonely Day acoustic. We actually recorded it on Twitch with everybody. They said it was good, so it's on them. I'm putting them in the credits because they were helping me. We spent like 4 hours on Twitch recording the vocals because I'm really self-conscious still. I don't know. I was going to ask you, how do you get rid of that when you're recording vocals, like the self-conscious part of it? Like, because to me it still sounds like, I don't know, like with putting it out.
I don't think you ever really get rid of it. I'm still... Every time I put out a video or have original anything on there, I'm always like, God, I hope this doesn't suck. You know what I mean? And my vocals, I mean, I've got enough feedback now to where I'm pretty confident, like how I sound is pretty good. But there's sometimes where I try some like more complicated shit, and it's like out of my kind of wheelhouse. So Go On was like that. One of my songs I did, and it was like holding notes as opposed to just, kind of shouting in key or whatever, hold notes, hit notes and stuff like that. So I think you do it the same way enough and that's what people expect, then you should be cool with that. You know what I mean? So it's going to always be, I hope it's good, but
the only thing I focus on is just make sure the pitches are there. I'm like, if I'm hitting the pitches, like the tone is one thing. I was like, I knew two things. This is how I judge it. I'm like, if the pitches are there and I got clarity to my voice, I'm like, okay, cool.
Dude, and you can't change your voice.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, you can imitate, but I'm just saying, if you use your real voice and you hit pitches, and nobody can say shit about it. But,
because it's just perspective, right? I think my issue is figuring out how my voice fits into writing music, because I wrote metal majority of my life. I mean, yes, dabbled some hard rock. I did some jazz jam bands and stuff. But when I did those jazz jam bands, it was just like going on stage or like, what key we're in? F sharp. All right, cool. And then we just go, we play, and then I would just shred, and then I'd do a mixture of metal and blues and rock. Like my favorite thing to play is Jimi Hendrix style riffs and stuff like that. And so yeah, it's been pretty difficult, like, and scary to figure out what the hell I'm gonna write for my voice. You know, like what it sounds good. I don't necessarily think my voice sounds good over metal. My wife scared me the other day because she's like, you should do Green Day Good Riddance because your voice is perfect for that. And I'm like, God damn it, is my voice really that nasally? And I'm like, fuck.
The thing...
I love that song too, by the way. He's a great lyricist. I love Green Day. I grew up on him. But yeah, I was like, like in my head, I'm like, I don't want to have a nasal voice. That sucks.
Here's the thing, and it's kind of like with guitar. You probably went through this too. When you start playing guitar, you want to sound like this, or you want to sound like that. You want to emulate so and so, and then you gotta find your own style, so you're not constantly. It hit me one time. I was hosting an open mic when I worked at this music store, and one dude's like, "Dude, you sound just like SRV. Good job." I'm like, "Yeah, but I kind of want to sound like me." You know what I mean? How do you break out of that? And it's with vocals. I wanted to sound like Stevie. I wanted to sound like whoever, and then you're imitating other people, and then you realize that you're like holding your voice. You're holding your voice back from what it could be. So if you can forget that and just, like you said, learn how to use your voice in whatever context you want to. That's kind of the key thing, to where you're comfortable. You're not trying to sound like anything. It's using your sound.
Well, my buddy, I would play stuff for him, and he kind of made me backtrack on vocals because he was like, I don't like how it sounds. I like the original. I'm like, well, and that's when I learned how to stop trying to imitate, because my problem in the beginning is I kept imitating vocalists, and my favorites was like Eddie Vedder and Scott Weiland and Chris Cornell. Those are the singers I'm like, I wish I sounded like, right?
Yeah. Cornell.
But not happening. But
nobody can sound like Cornell. Vedder, we've heard 1,000 people sound like Eddie Vedder.
Yeah,
you gotta stick your jaw out, and then that puts a voice in the right way.
Yeah, and I cover a
90s,
Pearl
man.
Jam song, but the thing that makes Eddie Vedder a genius is his interval jumps. The way he can, it's like he sweep picks with his voice, which
his voice is such an instrument, man. That's one dude. Sorry, but I was watching like a video with a friend of mine. He's a super fan of them, and he's like, listen to his voice. It's like an instrument. I'm like,
it is.
He's using it. Not just to say the words, he's using his voice. It's brilliant.
I was studying the song Black, the sheet music for it, and somebody put his vocals in the sheet music, and he's singing straight up triads. Like, I'm like, I could literally play, I could sweep parts of his vocal notes that he's doing. I'm like, I'm not sure how much musical training he has, but like, just the fact where he would just go from the lowest octave to the highest is just insane. Like the jumps, the interval jumps is what's so impressive, because to go from like a first to a seventh out of nowhere to like make that chord sound more what is it, melancholy and stuff. It's phenomenal when you think about it. The thing that ruins it for some people is the way that he mumbles, right? Like he kind of like you know? Yeah, but it is what it is.
There's definitely Pearl Jam is a band that has some fucking outstanding music, and then there's a lot of stuff where I'm like, eh.
Yeah, well, Eddie Vedder said it, like, what was it, 10, their biggest album? There's an interview, I could be completely wrong, but if I remember correctly, he said he knows how to write hits. He sounds super cocky. He's like, I know how to write hits, and then he literally said, I'm done writing hits.
Oh.
And then if you notice, during a certain point, all of a sudden you didn't hear about Pearl Jam anymore until like later 2000s. Because he said, he's like, okay, I wrote what everybody wanted us to write. Now I'm going to write whatever the fuck I want and experiment. Because he's like, I know, because he's like, I know how to write hits. And I'm like, can I go listen to his hits? I'm like, but these hits are fucking phenomenal. Like,
yeah, they're not just, they are great songs that happen to be hits, not hooky crap that happen to be hits. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
but it's crazy. But going back to BAND-MAID, I wanted to point something out in your Giovanni breakdown that I really I wanted to explain it to you. Well, you probably already know, but like the stuff that you're doing like the hard rock stuff, and you like that's the stuff you were like nailing. But those interval jumps, like she does in the beginning and that first part of Giovanni, that's a metal thing to do. Like that was straight up a metal riff. Like what she was playing, if you think about prog metal, that's literally Giovanni is like a perfect fuse between like the hard rock style that you're showing off on guitar and metal. It's straight up. That's what I love about that album, because it's like it has so many metal elements to it that that people don't realize. If you just listen to the song as a whole, you're like, oh, that's a good hard rock song. Well, it's like a hard rock song with a lot of metal, like just weaved in there. I don't know if she listens to a lot of metal. Maybe she does, maybe she doesn't. But it has a lot of that. I think she just
listens to everything, man.
But
that, and even I made a comment about it in her text over, like, what am I doing? Because I knew it was a bad idea going into it. I don't prep for those. I think it'd be cool to do this.
I laughed so hard when you were accidentally playing the Giovanni riff for Black Hole. I was like, I was watching it. I was like, wait a second, that's Giovanni, and then your text
idiot
came over and said, this is actually Giovanni. I'm like, that's something I would have done. I'm like, this man's brave. I can't believe he put it out. I would have fucking just cut the video. I'm like, nah, this is not going anywhere. This will be between me and myself.
I thought it was hilarious, man. I'm like, oh, because I was working on, I did one, and
it was funny.
And I was working on the other. But I think, I could have worked on it and then put out everything, really well and everything. But I think it wasn't a big plan or anything. But I'm just I'm a no bullshit kind of guy, and I think if someone sees me like struggling with just figuring something out, and saying, well, we'll move on. It's like gives some people confidence. Like, well, this dude.
That's a good point.
Whatever, some people know who he is, and he's not just flying through it. Maybe it's okay if I can't figure something out right away.
That's kind of that's actually pretty motivational, man. Like that's I might do that then because I'm more self-conscious. So like I get what you're saying. That's a really good point. Like not to be self-conscious. Like I
show a little bit less of the struggle than I did.
Everybody that goes on Sunday Twitch streams, they know the struggle because I'm there is where I show it off. I'm like, there's not a lot of people going to the Twitch, so I'll just you can watch me fuck up over here live. It's fun though. Like they get to watch me record and mix and play live.
The process of doing this over and over.
Yeah, because some people don't know.
Trying to get
they don't know how much goes into it. Like when they watch pull up the EQs, compressors, and all that stuff. They're like, what the hell are you doing? Looks like I'm operating a spaceship.
I caught a little bit of one, but are you going through just tracking or kind of focus on doing like one thing for the stream or just whatever you happen to be working on at that time?
Well, last Sunday, everyone kind of convinced me or motivated me to do it. I'm like, man, I got to do Lonely Day. We were going through the mix, right? And they're like, you should do the recording. You should re-record that part. I'm like, what if I do it right now, guys? Would you be interested in hearing that? And yeah, like a few people were there helping me. They're like, oh, that one sounds better. That take is good. Do this take again. And then it was actually really fun. I was like, all right, cool. So I kept trying to record the vocals over and over, looping it, doing certain sections, trying to make it better. I'm like, what if I put grit here or not put grit? It was pretty fun. Plan on doing it again today.
How different is that than sitting there by yourself, like working on something for an hour and then listen back to it and going like, I don't know.
Exactly. You don't know. You're like, I hit the notes, but that sounds weird. It doesn't, it's fun. It definitely makes it more fun.
That's cool.
But yeah. WB wants to say, oh, was that a Pepsi? I don't know. They're asking if you're drinking a Pepsi.
No, bro, that's a Spider-Man cup.
I was about to say, I don't think it's Pepsi.
It's just water.
So Lord of Raider says, Konami studies all types of music. It is her profession, and she is very good at it. What she listens to by her choice is a little more vague, although there is list out there from past interviews. Oh, okay, cool.
I've seen where she mentions Santana like almost every time. And what's the
Santana is one of my favorites too.
Coldplay, which I know people get a lot of shit about Coldplay, but man, they got some. I love some of their a lot of their music actually. And you can
for them, it's the vocals that get me. I'm like, I'm not my favorite.
Yeah. I like it, but the music of that, the chords that guy uses, they're fucking crazy. But and what else did she mentioned? God, I can't remember. There's a few where I'm like, okay, right on. I could see where it all kind of fits into what she does. Santana, I don't see so much. A lot of people are like, oh, I can see Santana in this song. I'm like, not me. I don't ever hear that from her.
I don't hear it either. Her solos, yes, certain solos, earlier solos.
Yeah.
For the previous records, maybe. But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. What were you saying? I
don't know.
I'm sorry, dude. I did not mean
to interrupt. Something like
I've
seen some lists just about her influences, but like I mentioned here recently about her solos, like something I love about her solos is it's never comes off as somebody like noodling through a scale or a mode over whatever key it is. It always seems to me like I do. If I want to craft a solo, I listen to it and I just kind of hum it out like where I think it should go, and I don't worry about what key or mode or whatever, and then I'll just figure it out. If I'm just improvising, it's like, okay, well, for me, everything, I just relate it all back to Dorian and then play around. But if I craft a solo, I don't worry about that shit.
You know what's funny? So I think what it is, she probably does have Santana licks intertwined in her solo, because that happens pretty often. Like I remember Kirk Hammett famously said in one of his solos, like, that's a Jimi Hendrix solo. Like he was like, right. It was put into a metal song, so that's probably what it is, and we're not getting it right away. It's not the exact flavor of Santana. It's probably like a little run that she liked and then inserted it. It could be that, because it comes out in your improv. It does. Every time I learned the 2 Jimi Hendrix songs last week, right? And then the next day I'm improving, and all of a sudden I'm doing like little licks. It's in a whole different thing, and I'm like, oh, yeah. Like, so that's why I always tell everyone, learn as many covers as you can, because you get a lot of new patterns and stuff like that from solos and stuff. But
oh yeah, trying to learn any of her stuff I've learned a lot more from just trying to learn a few of their songs and learning the same shit I've been learning over and over.
Lehman was just saying that he hears daydreaming. He hears Santana in Daydreaming. I don't know. What do you think? You hear it in Daydreaming?
I don't hear that at all.
I don't either. But
now, here's an interesting thing about Daydreaming, because I can play that solo. I love it, and it's always when I learn one of hers, I'm a little surprised sometimes at how uncomplicated it is. Not that it's not difficult, and she uses a section of Dorian mode that I've only seen me use for the second part of that solo. It comes in with the, you know how it starts out. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to like imitate it, but
no, we want to hear you imitate it. It'll be hilarious.
Well, I'll have to get a guitar. I need a pick. It'll make more sense if I do that.
We'll warm you up. We'll warm you up for your performance.
Whatever, that part, and then it goes. Whatever, I can't play it on this thing.
But it's the placement of when she
when it goes into that whittly part. It's using a section of the scale that I don't see anybody use together, and it's a really cool thing. I'm like, I do that. I fucking do that.
Yeah,
and she does it.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like, I think it's the placement of the techniques and where she's doing the patterns are well placed, because, like I said, I've heard so many boring solos that are impressive. If that makes any sense, where like it's really good, but there's no substance to it. There's no like I mentioned on a previous interview, is like I like to put soul and feelings into the solo, like, and I think she does that. And when you're putting your feelings into the solo, I feel like all those techniques just find a place to form. You know what I mean? And it's because so that one part, that widdly part, right? That do. I've heard people just do that randomly, like in a solo.
Yeah.
And I remember playing in a band, Marsha Kronos, the guitarist that I was with at the time. He was amazing. He made me better guitarist for sure. He's like, hey, I need you to switch this section to that section and this. And I'm like, oh my God, the feeling of the solo just completely changed. Yeah. And it was the same parts. Like, he didn't make me rewrite nothing. He's like, I like everything you wrote. It's all in the wrong place. you know, and plus
Isn't
I
that
was pretty.
crazy how somebody else can see that? Somebody else can see that sometimes. And you're like, well, I wrote it this way. And they're like, trust me, try it.
Yeah, and then
like,
you're like, oh my God, it sounds so much better. Yeah, I love it when people do that. So I always try to show him my solos because I'm better at it now, but at the time I was, I still am. I'm very scatterbrained. Like I have ideas and all this stuff, and then I accidentally put in the wrong parts, and you know, then I'm like, oh shit, I meant that for here, and then I'm better about it now, but back then I was like that a lot. So he would just be like, here, start with this because you're going to have this build up in the lead and then show your emotion right here and then this. And then he had me move it around. This is this is a shredding guitarist too. Like this is fast technical speed metal. And he's the one telling me like, you got to do this. He's an amazing soloist.
Stuff that you wouldn't
really
think you would worry about that stuff.
Yeah. But one thing about that band, March of Kronos, another one that almost did really well and failed, but his solos were so unique, and it's just so sad because nobody will ever know about it. But he had some of the most unique metal solos I've ever heard, like because he actually would put catchy melodies in them, you know, in this screaming death metal style, but then the solos were just so majestic and melodic, and you would just want to keep listening to the song. He's really good about stuff like that. But shout out to James. If you ever listen to this, he probably never will. Man. He's never on the internet, but
yeah. One thing, let's see, YouTube and had showed me that from, you know, my youth, our youth, and many of the people watching this, they're the superstars of rock when you're growing up were like, they were diamonds. They were deserved to be on this pedestal because only they could do it. And they're phenomenal. Nobody can play like Hendrix and nobody can play like whoever. And now I see that there's a fucking million people that can play like this. They just weren't lucky enough to get noticed by whoever.
Yeah.
And it's like a weird thing now because now everybody can get seen, but if you amplify everything, you kind of hear nothing. You still have to pick and choose what you want.
This is why I jump on every opportunity I possibly can. I feel it. I always call it like raise your luck meter a little bit, you know? Like jump on everything. It can be stressful like this week for me, but I wanted to, like, you never know. What if I didn't do this, and what if you couldn't come on later, you know? Or, you know what I mean? I'm just like one of those people like, no, let's go. That's why I like with Joaquin from Sabaton was like, he's like, I'll do this day. I'm like, I'll be up. I was like, I didn't care. I'll be up at 4 a.m. Let's do this. Cancel everything, you know? Or like with Lady Beard, like I was talking to him and I was like, anytime you want, man. I'm like, well, I'll do whatever you want. Like whatever, you know, but some people don't do that. They'll come up with excuses or, oh, well, I only could do it. I've heard it many times. Like I've had friends that had really big opportunities. They're like, I just couldn't do it because I had this and this going on. I'm like, bro, did you sit and weigh the pros and cons of that thought?
Right. Sometimes it can be scary thinking, you know, well, what if something happens?
It can be.
And it's like, well, shit, you know. Yeah, it is weird. And I don't know. I guess there's been instances where it's like, oh, if something happens, you know, we could do this and that. It's like, well, if you do, then you got a family, you got a job, you got all this stuff. It's like, well, if this actually goes somewhere, I'm gonna have to like quit that shit and take time off. And it's sometimes that's a con, you know.
Yeah, it's really hard. That's why, like, you know, your relationships that you have around you really matter. Like your friends, your significant other. All that stuff matters, you know. It really does. That's why I'm thankful for my wife, how she's dealt with my bullshit for many years. You know,
me too.
It's like my kids too. You know, I've had to sit down and have a conversation, and be like, hey, you know, wasn't here for this part, and I apologize. You know, I'm gonna do this, and you know, try to organize your time to make it work. And also, you know, for me, like I always have that conversation, like if I don't play, I'm going to be a miserable person, you know? I go through not playing withdrawals, which I did this week, and I felt it. Luckily I played last night. I played until 5 a.m. So that's why I had to push our thing a little late. I couldn't sleep. I just kept playing and playing and playing. I didn't want to stop. And I'm like, oh, I'm so happy to get to play. I'm going to be energized for Ryan's interview because I felt it wearing off. Like on the interview yesterday, I was like, I'm so fucking depressed right now. I need to fucking play. This is crazy.
I realize now if we go on a trip somewhere, like I wouldn't think about where am I having a guitar? We're going on to see so-and-so. We're going to be going camping or whatever. And 2 days into it, I'm like, is there a music store around here? I need to find somewhere where I can go fucking play because I'm really being affected by this. So now I got my Blue Ibanez guitar I take with me like wherever. And it's cheap. I don't have to worry about it. Temperature wise, whatever, I can just take it and I can just sit down and play a little bit.
Yeah.
It's either that or I got it. Give me a half hour to listen to BAND-MAID. Shut up and let me do it.
Yeah,
Makes me feel better.
when I was a district manager, we'd go on these meetings to California, and my buddy Carl, he was co-owner of the Carl's Jr.'s out here in Texas. He's like, "Why do you always bring your guitar to the hotel? Like, you're not gonna have time to play." I'm like, "Oh, I'll have time to play."
But it's there if I need it. Yeah,
it's there if I need it. You know, like my acoustic, I have like a whole like I don't have it in here, but I have a whole humidifier system like that I put in the center right here. Like, so wherever I go, I put it all in there and I bring it everywhere. I play the shit out of my acoustic. I've been really obsessed with playing acoustic lately. I don't know why, but
that's what I did most for a long time was just playing acoustic from playing those jams and stuff. That's kind of, and then locally there's a place called the Wild Rose Moon. It's a nonprofit art and music place here in town, and I help out there. And it's a lot of the acts we have in there are folk based. And Kennedy's Kitchen, Irish folk music, they come through. And so when I plan on going there, it's always acoustic based. So when I write, that's what I grab anyway.
Yeah. I'm trying to like turn like my songs off the EP into acoustic. I've been doing that. I got a couple of them already done. I'm trying to do Phoenix, our latest single. That one's hard because the singer we got on there he was a hell of a vocalist. I have to do it 2 octaves lower.
I did. I watched that, man. That's some cool stuff.
My thing is I write the lyrics and melodies, but like I wrote those for him, and I always have this thing where I write it outside of my range every damn time. So I'm like,
I do the same thing.
It's like this is what I want to hear.
I used to be able to sing in E like really well, like 3 octaves E.
Yeah.
And now I can't jump up like I used to. So I'm always like, oh shit, now I got to back it down. Now it's like A.
So I always forget to warm up. Like yesterday I was singing, I'm like, why does my voice sound like shit? And then after I warmed up, I'm like, oh, there it is. It came back. Like, and then I can get to those octaves. But I know the stretch exercise that Sam Johnson taught me that it's actually increased my range, which is insane. It's like made it like go up a little higher and lower, but it's fun. It's fun doing singing. I love it the most. I don't know why. I love singing and playing more than anything. But hey, you want to play something for everyone?
Sure.
All right.
I could do that. Let me get my lyrics out. It's a song I wrote.
Which one is this? Is this one of them on YouTube? What did they say? They said, Plymouth's finest guitarist about to play right now. Or whatever people are.
The Plymouth's own legendary guitarist. Yeah.
We got Plymouth's own legendary guitarist on stream with us today.
That was at the Moon. Yeah, they're very nice. Yeah, I'll do that song. What did I call that? I don't even know. I'm so bad. I don't even know what I called my own song.
I had the name in my head too, and I forgot.
Yeah.
I'm a horrible interviewer.
If I look at the lyrics, I can probably figure it out. Jump before the fall.
There you go. Jump before the fall. Yep. That's the one. I know it when people mention the name. It comes back to me.
Yeah. All right. Tell me.
You're good, man. You're good.
All right. I'm on a mission. I hope it's. I already fucked up.
You gotta keep going.
I'm on a mission from my head to my soul. I'm on a mission from my head to my soul. I got my map out, but which way to go?
Make me want to do
I have my
solos.
direction, and I hope it's the right way. I have my direction, and I hope it's the right way. I'm gonna end up where I need to be someday. The hard time are coming, gonna test us all. Where there's death and sorrow, we gotta jump before the fall. I'm ready for nothing, pretending like I am. I'm ready for nothing, pretending like I am. It's gonna be a heartache, no matter how strong I am. Gotta love too much, gotta love too much for the day. Gotta love too much, gotta love too much for the day. 'Cause there ain't nothing that's here to stay. There's a hard time a-coming, gonna test us all. When there's death and sorrow, we gotta jump before the fall. There's a hard time a-coming, gonna test us all. When there's death and sorrow, we gotta jump before the fall.
So amazing, man, dude. Great job, dude. That was.
Thank you.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
You
I
sounded
appreciate
good.
that. I hear nothing but mistakes.
You sounded good. You covered them up beautifully, man. That was really good. No, seriously, like, it's just, I'm really jealous of your tone, I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, the whole time, like, because you sing the style that I love. I love that style of vocals. I really do. It's like, it's one of my favorite. I love just the character on your voice that you have. Like, it's just the
thanks,
thing I
man.
like. And it's probably because you and I think we have very similar tastes in music. Like, you mentioned Stevie Ray Vaughan. I love Stevie Ray Vaughan. Jimi Hendrix is what I love the most, of course. But, like, that style of vocals, is just, and that's kind of how I looked at, like, grunge music, too. Like, it was like an elevated version of blues and folk, like when they would sing out those notes. Because it's the same kind of lyric writing, but it was just sung out
Yeah.
more. That's what I always consider. It's not all of them, but my point is, I love your voice. It sounds good.
Thank you
It
very
sounds
much.
good, man.
I've worked on it, man. I've went through, like I said, a lot of imitating things and hey mama, trying to sound like Stevie Ray Vaughan instead of sing.
Yeah.
Look at that, like there's like a way you hold your tongue when you sing like him, and you can sound like him. I had to like quit
Yeah.
doing that. Just sing like you.
Well, you
And,
still have some elements in your voice that sound like him, though, when you're just being yourself. It comes through. It really does.
Right
So I think it's just that the music you grow up with that you come attached. I feel like somehow it just seeps into you, and then when you start doing vocals, it just kind of just comes out, just like with guitar and everything else, right? I don't know. That was good. I liked it.
Thank
It was
you.
awesome.
I'm in my head. I'm like, it's obvious I haven't practiced this because I didn't do the same shit through the song. I missed some things here and there, and I don't know. But I'm always hard on myself anyway for that stuff. But I want to do like a more complete version of that and put it out. 'Cause all I have is the one I did at the Moon, and I haven't really worked on it since, honestly. But I think it'd be cool. I like to should I electrify it or not? Because it could be cool either way.
All I could think of was playing leads while you were playing. I'm not gonna lie. I thought of a lot of cool blues riffs that I was like, immediately was like, man, I want to bust out the PRS right now and just do some stuff underneath.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun.
Or those Jimi Hendrix style chords underneath while you're doing the main chords. Like when I do that style of music, I love doing that. Like somebody playing the open chords and then start. I don't even know. I guess like just playing up and down, like doing these styles. Like, it's out of tune, but
right, just hitting some partials and whatnot.
But that's awesome, man. So, are you planning on releasing more stuff like that?
That's the fun thing about doing YouTube and editing videos. And
yeah, I know.
I'm like, do I need to work on music and just not do anything for a while? Because if I do something like on what I did release on the album, EP, whatever you want to call it, I played everything on it. And I had to like I said, I could mess around on drums, but I didn't really play drums like 4 songs. So when I started doing it, I was absolutely horrible at keeping time. I couldn't do it. The first song I had like 60 to 70 edits just to get the drums in time. It was horrible. And by the end of it, I'd have like 2 or 3 to where I could play like a big section of the song and it was all good. And so I'm like, God, if I want to do that, I got to, it's a lot to do.
It is.
Especially if you're trying to do everything on yourself, it is. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's fun.
It can be a lot. The channel, like the reactions can be quite a bit. And of course, I probably could free up some time if I stopped going editing crazy on my reactions, but especially the
edit and like add cool stuff. I edit because I got to cut out all my bullshit.
I just, I like doing everything creatively, like even when it comes to video editing, as much as not a fan of doing it, I still got to be creative. I want to be proud of it, as it goes out.
That's funny. If you look through some of mine, there's some videos to where it's like I would do zooms and I'd throw in a bunch of GIFs and just all this shit. And it's like, man, that's fun. And then the next one, I'll just completely forget about all that stuff. It'll be like one text overlay and that's it.
Yes.
People are probably like, what? He did one fun one. What's all this shit? I think that stuff comes up if it like needs it. Like if I'm like stuttering over what I want to say and I can find a GIF that just like shows the frustration in it, I'll throw it in there. And sometimes it kind of snowballs and it blows up. And sometimes I think I said enough and I don't need to add a bunch of stuff. I've been where I'm like, well, I need to add more. I'm like, well, no, I don't, it's my video. I can do what I want.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a really good point is like not over editing. I've accidentally had some stuff where I add too much. Right. And then now what I've been doing is just dialing it back completely. The only editing I do is like close-ups on the face, backing it up, slow zooms in while I'm talking, they keep people's attention and stuff like that as you're talking.
Right.
But little tricks like that has definitely alleviated a lot of stuff. It takes the editing down from like 6 hours to 2, Well, I don't even know how you come up with GIFs and stuff like that. None of that stuff comes to mind when I'm doing videos. Only like B-roll and stuff like that. Like when I'm talking about something.
I think it's increased since I started my Discord because that's like a main line of communication on that. And dude, all I do is if I'm thinking, move it, motherfucker, then like I'll just type that in for a search. And if something comes up, cool. If not, I'm like, I
Yellow
won't do
Clip
it
says Ryan uses GIFs like Misa does bass.
I'll take that as a compliment, man. That's funny. I love using them. Sometimes it's like text messaging. At first, I'm like, why would you want to text? Just talk. And now I'm like, why would you use GIFs? It's like, well, sometimes it's just funny as hell.
You know what I've done with text messages, though? Now I've been using the voice thing. I don't even text. I just like, hey, can you blah, 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 and it just sends a little voice clip.
Right.
That's what I do now.
You check them before you send it? Oh, the voice clip. Okay.
Yeah, the voice clip. So, like, on the iPhone, you just hit, like, this little button, and you're just talking to it, and then, bam, I'm done. I stopped texting.
Yeah. I started
I'm too
a long
lazy
time
to
ago
text
using
now.
The swipe text, where you just move your finger across and it spells a word. And I realized I spend half the time, like, correcting those fucking words. But I still do it. I don't know if you've ever used that, a swipe thing.
Yeah.
Where you like
Yep.
run your finger across the spelling and I'm
Yeah.
like, no, not barfing. I want to say lo-fi. You know what I mean?
Have you ever accidentally sent anything embarrassing from trying to do swipe and didn't check?
Yeah. Yeah. Usually it's on Discord and I get called out because people can see when you edit your comment, and I'll do it and I'll put it on there, and then I'll go back and edit like 5 times with a silly program like CallMats. And I'm like, I was in the middle of editing it and I'd fix one word and post it. And I go back into it and they're like, oh, you'll get it. Keep going. I'm like, shut up.
Our moderators put a bot that shows the original post. I'm like, why would you guys add that? That's just fucked up. Like, so now I'm like really careful. I'm like, because you put it up, right? Even if you delete it, they can still see it on the moderator side. I'm like, you guys are assholes. Like, why would you do that?
So save this shit for later.
Yeah, so if you guys are in my server,
funny.
anything you delete is still seen. So think about it before you post. The moderators are reading it off to the side.
Oh my God.
I remember like I was having an issue with like like a while like with like mental health stuff with the messages. I had to tell our moderator, I'm like, hey man, can you take out the part where it tells me when somebody leaves a server, because I can't handle that.
Oh
yeah, those bots tell you everything. It's just like tells you when somebody leaves, tells you when you delete a message, and I'm like, why did we add this again?
Yeah. Patreon tells you, oh, so many deleted Patreon members. I'm like, well,
yeah.
And I know I gotta do more to keep a reason for people being there. But
By the way, yes, check out Ryan's channel, subscribe. You guys probably seen the link pop up. We do have it auto displaying your channel and your merch store.
Thank you.
Make sure you go check that out and subscribe to his Patreon, man. Support artists. Like, it's a great thing. Like, I love what we're doing. I love this conversation we're having today. Like, this has been the best. Honestly, since I've been starting meeting you all and doing these conversations, like, this has been the most fun for me on the channel. Probably this past month or so, like, just doing these. Like, I love doing the reactions too, but I love having these conversations more than anything. That's why we started this whole like podcast thing. And eventually, guys, this will all be up on Spotify, Apple Music, all that stuff. So if you guys don't have time to watch a 2-hour or 4-hour video, you'll be able to check it out here. So
I dig it, man. It's interesting talking to, you can realize, well, maybe I'm not the only one that's like this, or just dealing with putting up videos and stuff like that. Some people that are watching, they may not realize, it's maybe a 7-minute video, but it was, maybe an hour just to record the damn thing, or even 45 minutes and another half hour, 45 to edit it, and then another fucking 15 minutes to just upload it. And then you find out you got blocked. So you gotta throw it to something else. You know what I mean? And it's, I don't know.
So I got Molly that says we need reactions though. You're still getting reactions. Why you don't like these conversations? You
need reactions.
You're being a jerk today, man. What's going on with you?
Who said
that? It's also therapeutic.
You'll get them.
Yes, it is. This is very therapeutic for myself. I'm not gonna lie, it really is. But
when
I
get
do
through
want
all
to
the
get
BAND-MAID,
huh?
When I get through all the BAND-MAID songs, fucking then what?
Yeah, exactly. This is why I like getting people together though for this stuff. I love doing it because I think a lot of people do these reaction channels and just kind of stick to themselves. So my goal of the start of the year was like, I'm gonna start making people come on and talk. Not making people, you know what I mean. But I'm gonna start reaching out, like, hey, motherfucker, you want to come on? Let's talk. Let's talk about BAND-MAID.
That's cool,
let's
man.
talk about the reactions.
Which we did a little bit. We didn't really a whole lot.
Yeah, we talked about it. It's on and off. Yeah. We keep going back. We talked. If you guys just missed it, we talked about Giovanni. We talked about Black Hole a little bit. We had you confess your love for Konami, and yep, yeah. You just hide it. I know you're coming out the woodworks today, Sergey Moldets. You're just like ripping into me, telling us you just want reactions. You're gonna get reactions. Don't worry.
That's the thing. People like, how have you not listened to everything yet? It's like, well, their music is so good that for a while I had like 2 songs I could listen to until I could get to record another one, because I did it and like people liked it. I'm like, oh cool. So I like fucking Thrill and No God. That's all I could listen to, but it was so good. You know, it's like, all right. So now I got like 50 or some songs I can listen to without worrying about it. I'll get to the other ones.
I got a couple more albums to do. I haven't done all of them.
I haven't really hit the old, like the first and second ones. I've only kind of just, well, I don't know. I'm always corrected. So I've always heard more than I realize.
Yeah, I think you'll enjoy them, actually. Like, it's interesting because it's really good how they start. I know they weren't writing everything themselves, but you can see how it still progressed, and you can still see how that style stayed with Konami when she developed, you know, because there's a lot of hard rock blues elements in there that she brought over, like, as she started writing for herself afterwards. That's really good.
Yeah, there's a new reactor. Oh, I can't think of. All I can remember is somebody said that looks like a dude from Skyrim. He just put out a few videos, and he didn't show any video, but he talked about the albums. He's going through New Beginning, I think. And he made a good point. He's like, well, you can tell, and I made the point too, where like, because you can hear elements of where they are now then, so they obviously weren't being told, you know, like every little thing they could do. Konami, she wrote her solos. Nobody wrote her solos for her. Mm-hmm. But they also learned a lot from those songs. Like, they have total respect for the people that write the music, and that's awesome. And they still throw out respect for them. But from like the first album, which is, you know, kind of more pop punky kind of stuff, to the second one was a lot different. So it's like they tailored the writers to fit their style. So
yeah,
it obviously worked out.
Yeah, it worked out really well.
Because they still play some of those songs, and people they like playing them. People love them.
Yeah, for sure. Mr. B was saying, I do reactions chat with bands as well. It's good to do this. I agree.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I know we talked about the acoustic show with Potter on his channel, but what were your overall thoughts of the acoustic BAND-MAID live show?
How do they surpass what I expect every time when I hold them so in such high regard? Anyway, that's what got me. Like, seriously, because I knew it was going to be good, and then it was just like, even what I was imagining, it was just better.
I agree with you.
Coming out with HGK. Coming out with HGK acoustic, and then just bringing out Psyche and Konami and doing those 2 songs. Fuck, it's awesome.
It's like I said before, and I'll say it again. I had a whole new appreciation for the band throughout it. I mean, I love the band already, but mainly love their newest album. But I loved all the acoustic songs. I can't. None of them were really bad to me at all. So
no, and they're different enough. You could listen to No God and then No God acoustic, and you're not listening to the same song. It's just so it's recognizable, obviously, but. You know, they didn't just take and do acoustic versions. They completely did new arrangements. That's awesome.
Yeah.
They care.
A Metal's perspective. Thank you for coming and checking out. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, man. I try and do that, too. If I'm busy, I'll at least stop in and...
Yeah. Yeah, and I appreciate you stopping in on the Twitch. I've seen you on the Twitch. You stopped through. Do you have a Twitch? Do you go live on Twitch at all?
I do, actually. I haven't utilized it yet. I should.
Yeah,
I think if I had another platform, I wouldn't know what the hell to do right now.
It's a lot. It's just I just use it for reactions, live reactions, because I don't have to worry about warning, your thing's getting taken down, warning, blah blah blah. Because I just hit record. Like right now, I just hit record, and then I can just take it out and put it up. So
cool.
But,
yeah, it's a good move. I can remember that.
So, you want to play another tune?
Jesus.
One more. You're like, I don't got nothing.
No. Oh God, there goes my light.
Oh my God.
Sure, man.
You sound so good, and you're all set up for it.
Oh God.
Look, you got one more song. Look, everyone's yelling one more song. In the chat, we need 21 more songs, and make sure you like this video.
I don't even have that many. And my mic is falling apart. Did it break?
You're gonna have to improvise. Let's get up to 160 likes since there's 160 people watching, or 150 people watching. No Ellen song. I don't want to play a song. I suck. You don't want to hear me playing. Wait, everybody's saying one more song.
All right, that's just showing I could play before I go into this. We'll do the song I really like to play. How about that?
All right. Let's go. Wait. We got to hit 150 likes before you start. Let's go.
Where we at?
We're at 140. Let's get 150 in, and we'll start.
I will play a song if we get 150.
150. You can shred until then. We got 6 more. Come on. There's 157 people watching. Let's get them in. He's gonna warm up his fingers. See, now you get to warm up your fingers now. Man, these last 4 are being stubborn. Let's get those 4 likes in. Come on. It's like an auction, laugh out loud. Do I get 150? Yeah, there you go. Can I get 150? We got 146. Can I get 150? Too bad I can't like twice. There we go. We hit it. Go for it, Ryan. Let's do this. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. It helps us get discovered on here, so people can hear his beautiful voice. So.
Hell yeah.
Let's go.
All right, here we go. My placement good?
Your placement is awesome.
I can't see my fingers.
Okay, let me. Oh, I mean, yeah. There you go. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Here, I'll put you up more so we can see all your fingers.
I got my.
You're talking about a mic blocking. Oh no, as far as your camera goes, you look good.
That'll be close enough.
You look good.
I'll fix that in post.
Again, check out Ryan's Patreon if you want to help support him and his music and his channel.
Got the sun in my arms, got the warmth of my heart, got the dream and alive I can't possibly deserve. You see me as I am, I'm seen as more by those that matter, by those I adore. You share your sun with me. This is why we grow. We got the key. It's the life he deserves. You got your skateboard. You got your movie pass. Well, I got the key. These memories will last. a lifetime or 2 or 3. Either way, that's fine with me. Enough time to bear my soul. As far as life goes, I've achieved my goal because you see me as I am. Well, I'm seen as more by those that matter, by those I adore. You see me as I am. Well, I'm seen as more by those that matter, by those I adore.
Oh man, I'm so happy you stopped. Oh fuck.
What's up?
Oh,
no.
oh, that hit me. I was like, oh my. I was like, wow. I was not expecting to
It's a
tear
heavy
up.
song.
Fuck. Those lyrics hit me, man. Wow. Woo! Not
That's a heavy
expecting
song,
that.
dude.
Oh shit.
Oh, it worked. It worked. Well, I appreciate that.
Dude.
That's one that the first time I played it, I was like, I was playing it for a guest spot. Not the first time I played it, the first time I played it in front of anybody. I was guesting on a radio show, and I was like,
If you kept going right now, I would have been straight up in tears. I was like, oh shit.
right on.
Dude, that was awesome,
I was like,
man, dude. That
trying
was
not to tear
so
up as I was
fucking
playing. Thank
good.
you.
Oh, good job. Seriously. I've never had anyone come on here just perform and like make me tear up. I was like, whoa. I really like the lyrics. It hit me hard. You know? Oh man, I can't even talk about it. Fuck. Sorry. Goddamn. Thanks for the super chat. Oh shit. All right, get it together. All right, I'm sorry, I'm back. Good, great job. Great job.
I get to play something else, but
No, that was great. I loved it. By any means, I
Thanks,
do not
brother.
mean that as you should have played it. I loved it. I just wasn't expecting that. So I was starting off, and it was just when you hit the, you know, for me as I am, I can't remember exactly. I was just like, it hit home for me. So that was awesome, man. Yeah, definitely got moist on that one.
You see me. You see me as I am.
I'm gonna get a tissue real quick. You talk to everyone a little bit. Let me get a tissue.
Cool. I really make him cry, and I'll start talking about where the lyrics came from. I won't do that to him. So, I can't see the chat, but I'm going to assume people are saying stuff. Awkward silence. And how long he's going to be. Sorry. I was trying to fill in some time, dude.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if you could see the chat, but yeah, awesome. I should have just told you. Yeah, just jam out for a second. Oh, man, that was good. Metalhead
Well, you wanna
Perspective
talk- you wanna
said that
talk
was
about the
amazing.
lyrics?
Have a good day, everyone. Ryan and Alan, keep up the good work. Thank you, man. I appreciate
Thanks,
it.
man.
Again, thank you for the super chat too. I really appreciate it. Kitsune.o. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. I really appreciate it. It seriously helps us a lot. Make sure you check out Ryan's Patreon so he can support amazing music like that song he just did. And it helps him, you know, offset some time, maybe have some other people do some stuff for him so he can focus on what matters.
The thing I tend to do is so I got my family, I got work, so I try and do stuff kind of when the family's busy or gone. So I find myself like, it's like 10:30 and now I can do some stuff. I can edit some stuff or whatever. Then it's up way later than I should be, and I gotta get up early. So and I don't get complaints from my family. They don't care. I just don't.
Yeah.
I just don't want to take up that time. You know what I mean?
I know it's hard. I've been fortunate. I gotta say, my son, he likes singing along with me, so him and I'll just play, and then. Fortunately, he likes the music I'm doing, and he just sings along. It's funny because I can slowly hear him getting better, and I'm like, that's really cool. So
nice. Yeah. So yeah, he mentioned, Alan mentioned Patreon, and that gives us a lot more than anything I'm getting from YouTube. I tell you that.
Yeah.
And it's just not about the money, really. I got a job I like, so I'm going to stay there, but. Yeah, like you said, cameras or just time kind of invested in it.
Yeah,
it helps.
It definitely does. Yeah. What do you do for work, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm work in a machine shop. Mm-hmm. I've been a jack of all trades for many years. I finally found a job that I wasn't trying to get out of, so I stuck with it.
Oh, nice.
And so a lot of I worked in fast food and RV places and. It's about 2 years, and then I'd jump ship and be like, this is bullshit. So I'd go to something else and finally found a job where I don't beat the shit out of myself because I'd had a lot of hard jobs, screwed up, muscles and tendons and whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I work in a machine shop. The only thing that sucks is I got to be there at 5 a.m. It's not that far away, but still.
Yeah, I've been trying to get students. I lost like all my teaching stuff that I had because I had lost the studio during the pandemic. So I started trying to do teaching thing through Patreon. So if anybody wants to learn anything, check out that. So and we also give free lessons on our Discord, which I'm releasing today on our channel, by the way. So, but cool. But for me, like I'm struggling with that. We were just talking before, like I can't get students anymore. It's been difficult. It's been really difficult. So like I have to go back to work starting February 11th. So I'm not looking forward to it, like because I already know it's going to hinder a lot of the writing and doing reactions and stuff like that. So popping audio, is it at the 2-hour mark? It always happens every 2 hours. So I don't know why. Every time on the 2-hour mark, if this is running, it starts popping. So I just fixed it, so it should be good now.
Yeah.
Thank you, John, for the lessons. Yeah, so my goal is like just get enough lessons, so hopefully I don't have to go back to this piece of shit job. But yeah, I can't complain. It is what it is. I've done that a couple times since I quit my main job in 2019. I been trying to do music full time. But it's a very difficult task through YouTube, through teaching, through recording, mixing. So, that's what I do. I'll mix for people. I'll write stuff for people. I do everything music-wise. But, yeah.
That's cool, though. I'm getting echo again.
You're getting echo again? And I just reset the audio. We can't hear the echo. That's weird.
Huh. There it goes.
So you just got it when I reset the audio, so maybe it was me that was causing it on you. But we can't hear it, so you're good. Okay. Thank you guys for letting us know about the audio, though. Maybe I'll set a timer. I'll make sure I reset the the volume every time, But
so,
but yeah.
Well, I will say, I'll plug my album if you like the music I played. Well, the last one, because the first one's not on it. The last one, I wrote it like that with just guitar, but like on the album version, it's got bass and drums and a nice like a solo I'm really, really super proud of. Mm-hmm. Like even the drums, I like everything on it I'm proud of. The bass does a lot of cool stuff, so please check that out because I want people to hear that,
Is there a music video for it?
No, there's not. I was thinking of making one, but again, I just
Even
have
like
to
a
pretend I'm
casual
playing
one,
drums again.
like just a casual one, like timing, you know.
And I just recently figured out how to like put in multiple videos into the edits and all that stuff, and because I don't know anybody that does any of this shit. So I mean, now I do like online. If I want to reach out to you, I know I could, and there's people in the Discord I could.
I can edit videos,
but, right? But I think it'd be neat to do that just to kind of, because that would get it out there more. Because now it's on like every streaming platform anywhere, but there's, and even on YouTube, the songs are on there. But it would definitely give it a boost.
I was super excited that I could get the licenses for BAND-MAID, Baby Metal, Maximum Hormone. I was super stoked when I was able to get those to release on Spotify. Like, that was awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Was that like a fiasco to do, or was not too bad?
No, DistroKid. The one amazing thing about DistroKid, they do charge a little bit more, but they handle all the lawyer stuff for you. They do all the licenses, everything. So we got both our anime, our Attack on Titan, Digimon, all the Japanese covers we got a license for.
That's awesome. I figured with Baby Metal, how they are with videos and shit, that they'd be a pain in the ass to let somebody do it.
Oh, they're taking 50% of the money, but still putting it up. Still got it up.
Right on.
So, but yeah, Baby Metal, as long as they get their cut, they're happy with it. On YouTube, that's why it's shocking that they don't let it up, because when they copyright your stuff, they get 100% of the money. So it's weird that they're okay with the licensing, but not that. I don't get it. I don't understand it.
I don't know.
So what did you think of? I saw one of your Maximum Hormone reactions. I hadn't seen. I don't know if you did more than one, but
I have. Yeah, I did a couple. I think two. I think the first one I did. I can't remember what the names were. The one where they talk the stop when you upload. I did that one first, I think.
Yeah, that's the one I watched.
Okay, then I went into the video where they were kind of trolling people with with a light happy song, and then it goes into where he's like puking on the TV.
Yeah.
Dude, listening to them made me so happy, just because it was like, I can get kind of picky as far as like screaming vocals go.
Yeah.
And nothing those guys did annoyed me. It was so kind of different.
Yeah.
I guess. And I mean, that first song, it's just fucking fast. I'm like, what the hell is going on? But I loved it. And then they completely switched it up and went into that stop when you upload. I'm like, what? Now it's like a Weezer song.
Yeah, exactly.
but it sounded great.
Yeah.
It sounded great. And so I went into the next one. I'm like, what is this? But it sounded really good, even though it was a goof. Then they go into the heavy shit, and it was I'm so happy just to hear it, man.
They're my favorite Japanese band, hands down. Like, they're my favorite. Because of the music, because of relatability with the lyrics and what they translate to. Like, it's just, I really relate with them a lot. So I was listening today that they're my band I go to. If I want to feel good, that's the band I listen to 100%. Like, I love all the other bands too, but man, I can't. Like, it's every time I play Maximum Hormone, I'm like, it pumps me up. And then
thanks, Shred Dog.
Makes you feel not alone kind of lyrics, like it's really cool.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. Shred Dog, thanks for super chat, man. Kind of awake now.
Appreciate it. Yeah, they got a lot more of they throw in a lot of punk in their stuff. Maximum Hormone does.
See, I think that's what it is for me. I think that's why it's so relatable for me. I grew up, listening to punk, listening to melodic death metal, listening to grunge. This is a weird combination, right? So I listened to all three of those. I think that's why they just hit home for me so much, because just like all the 90s music is like in Maximum Hormone, I'm a huge 90s fan.
That's one thing I was hoping we get around to, like stuff we used to listen to, because I know it's going to be a lot of similarities, but then a lot of shit that we don't share. But
so for me, my favorite eras is the 70s and 90s, and I always argue that they're very similar eras of music, a transformation. Maybe not the late 90s, but like it was like an evolution of that version, because you know how 80s was all the glam and like going towards the fake route, right? Where 70s was more raw, and then 90s started off more raw again after the 80s, right? So that's why I always tell people it's like if the 70s skipped 10 years, And then now we got these grunge bands like evolving the music from then. But what did you grow up listening to?
Let's see. There's what was presented to me, like what my parents listened to initially, and whenever they drove around, it was always like 50s rock and kind of country and stuff. So I listened to a lot of 50s rock for whatever. There's like oldie station, which I can't hardly find now. There's a lot of that, and then once I started listening to my own stuff, like picking what I wanted to listen to, I realized after somebody asked me a question like this, and I'm like, wow, the first album I bought was a record, and it was like a rap compilation for breakdancing. And that's like one of the first things I purchased on my own. And I'm like, oh, okay. Cause I was like, I like rap. So I'm like, dude, you've been listening to rap kind of more than anything. But then it was like, liked it. And then I oddly enough, I think when I had like my own job, my first job, I think the first tape I bought was Faith No More. So it was a lot of Metallica, a lot of old hip hop, but then a lot of like Faith No More was kind of like an eye opener for me. And because of them, I found out about Black Sabbath because they had War Pigs cover on their tape.
Yeah.
The first the real thing. I was listening to that. My dad walked in. He goes, "Hey, that sounds like Ozzy." I'm like, "Ozzy." So I looked at the liner notes and I see John Osborne. I'm like, "Ozzy Osbourne, John Osborne. What is this?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "No, it's Black Sabbath's song." I'm like, one, that's the coolest band name I've ever heard in my life. Two, I want to know more about it.
Yeah.
And then that was like, it was Sabbath for a long time, man.
I was fortunate to see them live too. The full lineup, old school lineup.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it was 2005 in New York. It was in near Syracuse, Rochester area.
Wow.
Before it was like their last lineup as originals for Ozfest.
Damn.
I think it was 2005. It was crazy because it was Iron Maiden, it was Black Sabbath, original lineup, System of a Down, Hatebreed, All That Remains. It's the craziest thing. But anyways, back to what you were saying. Sorry.
Yeah, and in the meantime, my brother he listened to, I don't know where he got it from, but he listened to everything. He'd have Carly Simon and Revolting Cocks and Black Flag, and then he'd have like White Zombie and
I love White Zombie.
And like Frank Sinatra. Jay Unger he's awesome. He's one of the main influences guitar wise. Jay, So because he is my older brother, I'm like, oh, okay, it's okay to listen to anything and everything. So I'd branch out, and then I was watching, what was it, The Mask. At the end of The Mask, Harry Connick Jr. has a song on there. I just whisper her name, and it came on, and I was listening to the bands I mentioned, and that song came on, and I'm like, what is this? My parents like, what? I'm like, what is this song? And they're like, why?
Yeah.
And it just struck me. Like, I loved it. Completely never heard anything like it, and I loved it. And I looked it up, and I went and bought the CD, and dude, it's just... So I bought like, I think it was Korn and Harry Connick Jr. Like in one trip to the music store. I'm like, I want to, So, but there's a lot of thrash, like all the the thrash stuff, the big four, whatever thrash I was always listening to, and punk is always there. I never really got into punk, but I liked the idea of it.
Yeah,
if that makes any sense.
Because there's good punk, there's good bands in all genres, right? Like there's some really, like, I listen to, like, I guess what you would consider like the underground, like NoFX, Rancid, Pennywise. Pennywise I wasn't the biggest fan of, but people forget like AFI used to be a punk band. Green Day used to be a really underground punk band, and those were the ones I really resonated with, especially Green Day. It's one of the, I listened to it so much. I still to this day can't believe how much they blew up, because we kind of saw it back then, but it was crazy. It's funny how they just blew up. Same thing with AFI was one of the craziest concerts I've ever been to, where on the floor and Davey Havoc was just mashing it into the pits and stuff, or I watched them play, and I think I was in Boston when I saw him. I can't remember where, But it was fucking insane. And like when I say old school, like guys, check it out. Shut your mouth and open your eyes. Like you'll be shocked because they didn't do any music like they do now. And it was just like da, 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 da. And he was like a fucking madman. But I always loved the punk with melodies. Even Offspring, when they first started, they kind of had this grunge / punk like vibe. Like I don't know, as like weird, like surfer a little bit, but not really. They have this song called Hypodermic. It was amazing.
Well, like Bad Brains, stuff like that, Melvin's.
Yeah.
It's kind of, they got some crazy solos and shit in there, but they still got kind of that other vibe. I got into a lot of that stuff through skateboarding and stuff. And
yeah, I skateboard
turn me
too.
on other bands. Right?
I was trying to be a pro skater at one point, and then I decided on guitar. I was like, all right, I don't want to break my hands, and I quit playing. I quit skating.
Yeah, I wasn't ever really good. I was just a street skating dude. And I got back into it a few years ago. My son, he asked me about, can you show me how to skateboard? I'm like, yes, I can.
My son
It's like
did
4 years of me. I was a better skater then than I was when I was a kid. But then it took a few times of falling. I'm like, dude, I can't work if I roll my ankle again or do something to my hand, you know.
My son's face when I did a kickflip in front of him, he's like, because he didn't know I skated. Nobody knows, like, really. And he was like, what the like, you can see in his face, he was just like amazed. So we got him
I never fucking did one. Never did one. I pulled off one like ugly ass heel flip, and that was it.
Yeah.
I tried
heel
for
flips.
hours and hours to try and do a kickflip. I could not do it.
Heel flips are easier than kick flips for me. But maybe it's because I have big feet. I like wear size 13, so like kickflips were just hard for some reason. I remember when I first did a kickflip, I flung the skateboard across the road. It went down the hill into the freeway because our road would go right into a 690. And I ran for it, man, in the middle of traffic. I was a fucking idiot.
No!
I got it.
Your skateboard is your life, dude.
Yeah. I hated kickflips. I liked heel flips. So that's the flip that I landed in front of. It was a heel flip because kickflips, it was always like 50%. Because I'd play skate and stuff. I was trying to be legit, like, pro. I would spend all night just... I remember when I had to first learn to ollie, I was just, like, all night just, like, ollieing in place until I got it. Then I started ollieing manholes. Then I started doing sets. And then I started learning flips. And then...
Did you figure out how to ollie, like, by yourself?
Yeah. And it was fucking hard.
Me too. Dude,
it was so hard.
It clicked for me one time. I'm like, what is going on? Like, I see how the people's, and it was just magazines then. There wasn't fucking
YouTube. It looked
YouTube
like magic to me when I saw them do it.
There wasn't YouTube to look it up. It was like, I saw like 2 videos some bootleg of a video. I'm like, what? And you see pictures of them, you know, so high off the ground. And I just figured out like, well, if I slide my foot up, it pushes the board and it kicks. Okay, let's do that. And then I was proud, man. I figured it out.
Yeah, me too. Like, that's how it was when I first...
I
was in the grass. Like, I started with the grass first. And I would ask kids, and they would never explain it to me. Like, nobody knew how to explain it. So I remember sitting there just jumping off the board. I'm like, it's not going up. I'm like, okay, like you said, I was like, okay, down, up, and I just kept like over and over, and then after that, I was like, all right, now I'm gonna try doing it while moving, which is the scariest. Because I noticed when you're skating, like you have to not be scared. As soon as you have a little bit of fear, you start fucking up.
Exactly.
That's
Dude,
the trick.
dropping in. I didn't drop in until I started skating with my son. And I'm like 39. 40.
You just stop giving
now,
a fuck, maybe.
So I'm like, and we went on a family trip and we stopped at any skate park we could on the way down to Florida. So because now there's a lot. When I was a kid, it was like California and other place somewhere, but nowhere around here. So we found a couple with like some really low quarters, and he dropped in before me. I told him, I understand the physics of it, so I told him how to do it. I couldn't do it. So then I did. And then we were at Kokomo. There's this giant bowl there, which I did not drop in on. There's just a little quarter thing in there. And I was going to do it. I'm like you said, if there's a hint of not ready to do it, don't do it. I went ahead and did it anyway and caught myself when I rolled backwards, sprained my wrist for the rest of the trip. It was all whacked out. So then I don't think I dropped in anymore. I'm like, nah, fuck it, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Who am I trying to impress?
I'm like, it's hard because I remember it would piss me off. I'd be perfect at it because I only street skate. I didn't do a lot of like going on like vert skating is what they call it, I believe. So I would like just ollie over curbs and on the sidewalks and stuff like that. And then one time I had a nasty fall and all of a sudden I couldn't ollie anymore. I'm like, and that's where I had to learn. I was like, fuck, you got to get rid of that fear. Because two things, you can't be scared and don't look down.
Yeah, it's a crazy mental game.
It is.
Skateboarding is.
It's a really crazy mental game. Because I remember, like, with my flips, if I'm looking down, never land them. If I look straight ahead, always land them. But it's so scary not to look down. It's like, fuck, man. Like, I really want to look down, but it's
a crazy thing. You can try something 50 times and you land it once. And you're like, yes, I did it once. Like,
did
what,
you see
did
that?
It once?
Did you see it? Nobody saw it. Everybody else was busy trying to land their move. I'm like, fuck. No one saw it.
Yeah. You did it once? Yeah, I did it. We were out for 4 hours. I know. I finally got it. That's crazy.
But yeah, I quit it all. Quit skating, quit playing video games, and then guitar full time. I was like, that's all I did over and over again.
Guitar took over my life when I started playing that. That's all I wanted to do.
So
and I learned on a 1930s acoustic Maybell Carter guitar. My parents got it at an auction with no neck adjustment and flat frets and a baseball size bat size neck.
Yeah.
So it hurt, and I didn't know that it was like a horrible guitar to learn on. So I just did.
Yeah.
When I got the first electric guitar, I'm like, oh, this is how easy it can be. But yeah, I'm glad I learned on that, in the end.
So did you pick up other instruments as you went on, or just mainly just stuck with guitar?
I eventually got a bass. I'm like, well, if I can play guitar, I can play bass. And
every guitarist says that.
Yeah, and I had a keyboard. I think I got one when I was like 12. And I messed around a little bit. And when I started playing guitar, I came up with the part on guitar, and then I figured out how to transpose it to the keys. I didn't know what I was doing though. So I could like play one thing really cool, and people would be like, "Wow!" I'm like, "That's all I got." Like I literally don't know how to do anything else.
Yeah.
Drums I used to mimic playing. Once I understood kind of what the hands and feet were doing, I would try and play along with stuff. And then my friend kept a set at a house I was staying at, so I played drums probably more than I did guitar for about 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And but then I couldn't play them at all for, I don't know, 6, 7 years.
Hey, thanks for subscribing to us. Hopefully you stay. If not, cool too. But a comment for you. Subscribe so it watches your Bandmate reactions.
Yeah, he pops up a lot, man. Thank you. We all like that support, man. I like seeing your comments. They're always pretty good. Yeah, instruments. I learned. My neighbor down the road gave me a piano. She just wanted different furniture, so she's like, "You want this?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll take it." And so I figured out it kind of clicked for me as far as like just how a piano works.
Yeah.
So I could like play blues and stuff, and I not like click like I'm as good as I am at guitar. Just I can sit down and kind of noodle around. But it'd be neat to learn to play more like involved, but I know I'm just not going to be able to dedicate to it.
Just write something, honestly. Like that's what I've been doing when I was first learning piano. I was teaching kids, so I was always stayed a step ahead. That's how I learned piano. And I would write songs on it, man. Like that's the funnest part. It's just writing, getting a rhythm section going with your left hand, and then I would just like nice melody with the right hand. But that's what I did. I wrote a couple songs on piano.
It's fucked up. That song I played, "See Me As I Am," I actually wrote that on piano. I forgot. I was screwing around, and I came up with these chords and the whole melody and stuff, like playing and doing a thing.
Yeah.
And I transposed that to guitar. I forgot I did that.
I love writing on piano because it's less to worry about. Not that it can't be complicated, because it is, but it's less to worry about. Like, I don't know. everything just laid out. That's how I learned music theory. Like music theory just clicked when I was going through it on piano. I'm like, oh, you know. Then I really understood. Then I really understood what people meant by a guitar having like 6 pianos on it. I'm like, oh, it's makes sense, you know.
Yeah, I sat down and looked at it. I'm like, so it's just this.
Yeah.
That's the same thing here and here and here and here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it's just like,
yeah.
That's how I teach people. Like, well, Shred Dog can tell you. He's here in the chat. When I showed him how to find all the notes on the guitar, like I always bring up a keyboard. I bring up a keyboard. He had like a little keyboard, and that's how I explain how finding the notes on the fretboard. And then like at that moment, you're like, well, you don't have to like if you figure out the notes of a chord, you can rearrange that on the guitar in like 8 million different ways.
Yeah.
You know? So if like you're doing C major, C, E, G, well, you can combine C, E, G in multiple places, or better yet, you can play the C note twice or E twice, you know, and add there. So that's what I try to do with my lessons. I just make it basic because I noticed like a lot of teachers I had would complicate the shit out of music theory, and it's really not. It can be as difficult as you want it to be, but there's definitely a level that you can teach for people just starting off that is really easy to understand, you know, because I remember just looking at videos and trying to learn on my own, and people would like say all this stuff. I'm like, what the fuck? And then I forgot who did. I was taking this piano course. I took a piano course online while I was learning how to sing, right? So that's why I started getting heavy into singing. And then he was going over the major, minor, and I already knew this because of guitar, but the way he explained it was so genius. Like I really regret not knowing his name. It's like pianogenius.com or something like that. So it's something basic, but he has a couple things on YouTube. Check him out. But the way that he explained music theory was so amazing. Like pretty much just saying, all these people are going to say this and this and that. You don't really need fucking know. Pro performers don't know. They don't have any of that in their head while they're playing. This is what you need to know. And it was like a no bullshit lesson. So that's how I teach now. Like, it's just like, get to what really matters when you're playing. Because some teachers get into this like crazy thing. Because they like look at it as like a pride thing, right? Like
right.
You know, like,
yeah. I had a friend who I'd see him every once in a while, and he was brilliant guitar player, and he knew all the theory and stuff. And I'd run into him every once in a while, and he'd be like, "Hey, you know a pentatonic scale?" I'm like, "What?" He'd show me, and I'm just like, "What? This is everything I'm listening to." You know, like, damn. And then he was in the last band I was in, and brilliant musician and player, but to try and just get information from him, it was damn near impossible because it was never easy. Like, dude, can you just show me I need you're nobody till somebody loves you. I want to play it for my family. So can you just help me figure out the guitar parts?
Yeah.
And I was with him for like 4 hours and got nowhere because, well, what are you going to do? This style, blah, blah. I'm like, just dude, tell me the chords. Like, what are the chords? Yeah. It was just impossible for him to shut off and just make it simple, you know?
Yeah.
So I learned a lot from him, but I also didn't learn a lot because it was always just like, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then I was watching videos a while ago, and I mentioned something earlier about Dorian mode.
Yeah.
So in learning, I was watching Hendrix at Woodstock, and really focusing on his playing, what he's doing. He's hitting these kind of odd notes, and so I started playing those notes. I'm like, well, that sounds kind of Santana-ish, and I didn't know what it was. And then I started learning some modes and scales, and then as I'm going through, I'm like, oh, that's Dorian mode is what he's doing. Okay. So I started, and then I'm like, well, if you do a pentatonic, it's kind of that with an extra note, and then I do the blues scale with that extra note in there, so I kind of just blended them all. Mm-hmm. Then as I'm learning other things, I'm like, well, if I just shift the root here, I'm like, oh, well, there's Dorian mode again. It's not Dorian mode, but I knew that mode, like up and down the neck, so I just knew where to go every time. So I was watching this video as Dweezil Zappa talking to Steve Vai about when Frank Zappa told Steve he wanted to give Dweezil lessons. Okay. And they pull out his book, and Dweezil's like, check this out. And they're going through the lessons, and he's like, oh, here's where he said, just Dorian mode. Everything's Dorian mode. And I was like, what? And Steve Vai's like, yeah, because everything's in Dorian. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Steve Vai just said the thing I've been telling people.
Yeah.
That blew my mind.
I remember my aha moment with modes because whenever I didn't realize all it was just emphasis on the different notes, pretty much in a major scale, right? Like if you go to the minor, it's just emphasis. I never knew that.
Wherever your root is, that just determines the mode.
Yeah.
Nobody says that to you.
Nobody says it that easy. Like, and I was like, wow. And it's just amazing to know it now. So when I love seeing that in my students' faces when I would go through that, show them on there, and they're like, because you see it in their eyes, they're like, is it really that fucking easy? I'm like, yes, it is.
Play a pentatonic scale. Okay, now I'll start here and play a pentatonic scale. That sounds different. I'm like, yeah, dude. Yeah, it's just a fun thing to be like, fuck yeah, just justified.
Steve Vai's music theory book for guitars is really good. I gonna have to check out that book. But
he is a dude that I spent a lot of time listening to him, and because he's a very obviously technical player, but he does a lot of just the notes and bending notes, and just his technique is so cool to like watch him play. Where I don't get bored watching him as I get bored watching some other fucking shredders.
Yeah. How about Joe Satriani? What do you think of him? Not as much, right?
Not as much. He seems.
I'm just saying.
I got an argument with one guy about this. We were talking about them both. I'm like, he's just so repetitive. He's like, you're a fucking blues player. What are you whining about repetition for? I'm like,
it's the melodies.
I know, dude, but you can still not be like not repetitive and still play blues. But
I've talked about this many times. It's really about what your ear likes, right? Joe Satriani likes a specific group of melodies and keys that Steve Vai doesn't play as often. And I really have this theory that people gravitate towards certain specific keys and modes that are more favorable to their ear. And Joe Satriani is a different kind of sound. You know what I mean? Compared to them. So
I like listening to stuff and being surprised by hearing landed on a certain note or whatever. And that's what, like, I've ruined myself. I can't just play any simple blues anymore. I'm just playing like weird shit, which is, it's become like what I do, you know?
Yeah.
But listening, I get that a lot more with Vai than with Satriani. Totally amazing guitar player. It's just,
yeah.
And I get that with Konami too. That's why I like her so much, because she doesn't do anything you expect. I mean, now once you know her music, you know what kind of things she does, but she'll always throw something in there. It's like, what? Didn't see that coming, you know? And that just kind of, it makes you think a little bit differently about how you can approach things.
I think it's amazing how people have, like, once you let your quirks happen, it's like once you get to that level, once you get into that competent level of playing, let the quirks happen, you know? Like, I already know what one mine is. It's like this weird hammer-on pull-off thing that I do with all my fingers super fast. But it can't be registered. I can't fucking tab it out and sheet music and stuff. It's just a weird thing that it's only a feel thing that you can do. Don't let people tell you it's wrong. Just fucking do it, because that's your unique sound coming through. It's like when Mikio from Baby Metal, like, he had that whammy bar style that he would constantly have running through. I don't know if you've heard a lot of his stuff, but if you haven't, check out Syncopation with him on it. And it's phenomenal. And he was a great guitarist that passed away, unfortunately. That was amazing. Actually, speaking of Baby Metal, I would love to hear your thoughts on Baby Metal. I don't think we talked about Baby Metal yet, but that's a guitarist that I've heard recently. I'm just blown away by. It's so sad that he passed away. Like, it really is, because wow, so unique, so recognizably him, like, but yeah, it's so sad. But anyways, your thoughts on that, your Baby Metal and stuff.
Well, I mean, I imagine most people watching know my little tiffs I had with my initial response to ones. I did Road
I
Resistance
watched
first.
Megasune reaction. I didn't see your other ones, though.
Right. So I did a Road to Resistance first, and it got blocked. And so I'm like, well, fuck it then. I won't mess with them. It's been like 6 months, 7 months ago.
Yeah.
And so I was like, whatever. And then people from what I was watching, they're like, you gotta check out Baby Metal, check out Baby Metal. So I checked out, I think I did Akatsuki. And I made the mistake of mentioning them, not writing their, just the manufactured aspect of it. And I was complimentary of the music and how it was performed. And then, but I would, like, for me, being a singer-songwriter and liking bands like that, it was just weird for me. So I'm like, it's really good, but I just, like, there's a disconnect for me. And of course, I got a bunch of shit for it. And then after talking to some of the more sensible people in the comments, I just went at it a different
people,
way.
By the way, shout out to you guys, the ones that are sensible and recommend other things. Thank you.
Yeah, I will gladly have a conversation,
Yeah.
But if you're gonna start telling me how wrong I am, then you're done. So anyway, I went at it with a different approach. I'm like, well, I enjoyed the music, so just enjoy the music, dummy. Don't worry about it, So then, I went back and I'm like, this is pretty fun stuff. And how Sue Metal sings, there's something about her enunciation was just different. Just sounds different to me. And then I think it was maybe Karate, like a live version of Karate on a relatively small stage in the daylight. So not like the big huge show. And I was so impressed with that, by how much they put into it even then, that it was like, fuck yeah, this is pretty badass. So it's not something I don't go listen to them all the time, but I'm like, Make It Sunny, that was awesome. That was a great video.
A great song.
People are like, oh, you gotta see him live. Like, oh, whatever. That was an awesome video. The music was great. The video was great.
It's because their live performance. I'll say this: their live performances are really fucking good, man. Like,
I caught a clip of one, and there was like, I don't know
impressive.
What it was. There was like a giant structure in the middle, and Sue was like on top, and she looked like a little freaking toy. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? That's crazy.
I've mentioned it during my concert reactions. I'm a huge Baby Metal fan. I love them. And the thing that's wild to me, like their latest one, is Sue has this deep vocal range now that's so phenomenal, and it's just so good. Like, it's really good. I don't even know how to explain it, but yeah, Road to Resist. What you said, Road to Resistance, one that got blocked on you, right?
Yeah, and dude, I ended up putting it out later. I shared it on Discord, and it got onto the Baby Metal Reddit and all that stuff. And they're like, "Well, he liked this one. Why didn't he like the other one?" It's like,
so
I just got kind of turned off by.
It's funny you got those kind of fans from Baby Metal. I got lucky because I don't think I was entirely positive about Baby Metal in the beginning because I wasn't a fan right away. And I guess I got the fans that were sensible. They gave suggestions that said do this. For me, it was opposite. I had Bandmate fans that hated me, that went off on me. But shit. Luckily, I had Eric there. I had Eric there who liked them out the gate. And by the way, Steven, thank you so much for the super chat. They didn't like hate on me too bad, but like it was. But luckily, I wasn't reading a lot of comments then, and I went and kept. We kept listening to Bandmate, of course, because Eric liked them. Eric liked them a lot. That was one of the reasons why we kept going. So I think
they're
Eric
not even
kept them alive, and then I ended up loving them afterwards. So
right on.
So
it's kind of opposite, man. Because I really dig what I've heard. I really like. But Road to Resistance, that's the first one I watched. Is the live video, and it blew me away just seeing, because that's where they come marching out, and she like puts her arms out and spreads the crowd, and the crowd just obeys and splits up. And I'm like, what the hell is this? Because I didn't know anything about them, and then they start playing, and the whole just fucking big old mosh pit, and it was like, what is this? And it was really cool, but then I got blocked, so I'm like, whatever.
Dean's comment is exactly what I'm talking about. I'm gonna say, if you don't like Bandmate, your taste in music is suspect. Those are comments I'm not fans of. Like, why would you say that? Everyone has different tastes, So like, you can't really. You can say that all you want, of course, and it's fine. I'm not trying to call you out, Dean. I appreciate your comment, but like, hey, if somebody doesn't like it, they don't like it. Like, it's just nothing you can do about it. There's people I showed Bandmate to that they don't like, and some love them. And my daughter loves Bandmate, but my mom didn't. My mom liked Maximum Hormone more, and I knew she would. So, because my mom's like into like that kind of metal. She likes that style of music. Like, it's funny. So my daughter loved Bandmate, my mom not so much. So it's fine. Everyone has their different tastes. But
Yeah.
that's just my
I had my
opinion
dad.
on it.
I had my
but-
dad listen to BAND-MAID, and I'm like, hey, check this out. I'm like, I know, it's in Japanese, can't understand. I'm like, I can't either, but listen to the music. The stuff you like about music, they're doing,
Exactly.
And he's like, oh man, they're so good. They're really good. I'm
Yeah.
like, hell yeah, they're good.
No.
It's just a crazy thing to where
Yeah.
it's so accessible to, if you're willing to just enjoy the music, which
Yeah.
is what I was told about baby metal. Just listen to the music. Don't worry about it.
Dude,
Like, right
the
on,
lyrics
so,
are slowly coming into my head though. Like I found myself
yeah.
singing to the baby metal song and like, oh shit, it's coming. I was
Yeah.
like, it's kind of like what I do with Spanish music too. Like I like Maná a lot and singing along, and I'm learning Spanish right now before I do Japanese, getting it more fluent. But and I was like, oh, it's so cool, like how slowly the accents are kind of transferring over to my voice, or like trying to sing in Spanish and stuff. But I noticed today I was singing a baby metal song. And I was like, before I saw it was horrible. People used to tell me to shut up, but it's coming in there. But yeah,
That's a challenge.
just playing. Well, you didn't say you were just playing, so how am I supposed to know? People always do that. Like they're like, I was just joking. I'm like, how am I supposed to know you're joking without putting a laughing emoji or something? But
Right.
I love you, Dean. I really appreciate you being here, man. I was fucking with you. But yeah.
Of course, I think everybody should like him,
Yeah.
Why don't you like him? Well, I don't know. Usually it's just different country of origin. I didn't listen to him. I never would have listened to him originally, like on my own,
Like I think
because I was ignorant of music in general outside of this country. I was like, I started doing videos on Metallica just because that's the shit I was listening to. And then somebody on there is like, check out Nightwish. I'm like, okay. And I was like, this is fucking amazing, And then somebody on my first video there said, check out BAND-MAID. I'm like, okay, this is fucking amazing. And then I'm like, what have I been missing?
Dean, but it was a great example, though. I know you were just joking and it was sarcastic. It was actually a good example. I love that you put it up there. But that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's like I'll get bombarded. I would get bombarded with comments like that, like they make your whole character involved into the music you like. I'm like, come on, man. Like let's like, come on, really? You don't like this, so you have no taste in music, okay? Because Nightwish, I'm not a fan of Nightwish. I can't get into it. But I love Floor Jensen's solo stuff. I love her voice, but I can't get into Nightwish. I tried. But I can't.
They're a very genre specific band. As much as I preach about how much I like BAND-MAID because they can play anything, I like Nightwish. Like when I listen to them, it's just great. But I don't like listen to them all day. Sometimes I'll feel like listening to it, but it's a very kind of genre specific thing. Out of other bands I've listened to in that genre, I prefer listening to Nightwish. Yeah. Just because I know more about them than I do any of the other bands,
Steven said here, there's so much great music out there to get hung up on, to just get hung up on one band. Absolutely. Yeah. But some people are like that, and that's okay, and that's totally cool. My favorite genre in Nightwish is Symphony X. Hands down, Michael Romeo, phenomenal guitar player. And I talk about it all the time. So anybody compared to Symphony X, you got a tall order to fill, because Paradise Lost is a genius album. So, but again, I'm crazy fan of that album, so could be a little biased on that one.
So Alan, when you discovered a new genre of music through doing reactions, what is a band you took from that you listen to regularly?
What bands do I listen to regularly?
Well, I'll give you an example. For me, through BAND-MAID, somebody said, check out Bratz. Yeah. So I checked out a Bratz, and I really, really like it. And that's like something that I listen to. I listen to, like, just on my own. I'll check it out. You know what I mean?
Well, honestly, it was Maximum Hormone, because our first reaction was Maximum Hormone. And people suggested Baby Metal. And
oh, right on.
Even though they're not entirely similar genres, but, then that's how I became obsessed with Baby Metal. And then BAND-MAID was also mentioned. It was BAND-MAID and Baby Metal immediately came out of Maximum Hormone. Those were
that's cool.
People just jumped on that right away. But we couldn't stop listening to Maximum Hormone, so we kept doing more reactions. I fucking fell in love with Maximum Hormone. They just hit on every single thing for me, every emotion, every it was just like me through and through.
That's crazy finding a band like that, man.
I couldn't believe it either. Eric couldn't believe it either. Eric had already heard them, and he was like, hey, he didn't think I was going to like it, and he didn't believe me. He was like, do you really like that much? I'm like, dude, I fucking love this. This is amazing.
I was surprised, too, because there's some stuff that's like super screamy, super just noisy stuff that I'm like, whatever. But for some reason, dude, I think with just seeing how it was the video, I don't know if it wasn't recorded live. It was like a live setup, and just seeing him up there kind of goofing around, and then they just blast into this song. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And it was just...
You want to
like
go ahead, sorry.
Just fucking, I was like, what is this?
Man, I wanted it like when I watched that video, like I'm like I just want to like and then like by the end of it you're like singing along, you're like, oh, this is the best.
I'm like, what the fuck is Winnie Upload? I learned all about, the Japanese Napster and all this shit. Like, so I didn't know what it was. I'm like, what is this? I want to know what it is. Yeah, it is cool, man. And then I don't know their names, but guitar players. At the time he was singing, and the other dude comes in, and he's just super fast and screaming. And
dude, that's the cool thing too. All of them have unique vocal styles. So now unique, Daisuke unique. Like it's like. Oh, this is like it's just all of them. Like there's some songs
and
then
it breaks down, and the bass player just fucking just does this awesome shit. I'm like, dude, this band is so fucking cool.
It's so good.
Like, another one that's got multiple things I like.
Yeah, it's because it's like everything we probably grew up listening to. You end up liking them. It's all in one. I got a cool question to ask you because. I saw this comment, and I love it because it's kind of like a controversial comment, but maybe not as much, but in our community it might be. So I love responding to these and people's random videos or reactions that I watch a bunch of, but they're like, most people like Bandmate or they like baby metal. Like, it's either one or the other. And I always go, I love both.
See, I don't get that because they have like one thing in common. They're from Japan.
Yeah.
And that's where it stops, dude. The music's completely fucking different. The vocal styles are completely different. They're female.
But it's like, they make it seem like you only can like one, though. They're like, oh, if you like Bandmate, you can't like baby metal. I'm like, why?
Yeah. And I think people just like to say it because most people, people on my Discord, they like them both. You know what I mean? It's just people like to make there's people like to make that distinction. I don't think it's necessarily the norm.
Yeah.
But Bandmate is more like, or Bratz is more like Bandmate than baby metal is. You know what I mean?
100%. 100%.
That's a more sensible comparison to me. So,
yeah.
I don't know.
I love the tone of her voice in Bratz. I can't remember her name to save my life, but I really like the tone of her voice.
Yeah.
A lot.
That's cool, man. It's just it's another one. JYB is another one. Joshi Metal he put in a playlist.
He said, I got a load of shit for the video Bandmate work crap video. What? I don't know what you're talking about, but that comment. I was going to pull it up. So many comments coming in. Oh, yeah. Oh, have you listened to Love Bites yet?
I have.
I didn't check out your reactions to Love Bites yet. Nemophila is actually a band I'm growing to love a lot.
I like Nemophila a lot.
Yeah.
I Love Bites. Again, it's one of those, for what they do, they're great at it. And I like Miyako. Like, she usually has the blonde hair. That's Miyako, right? Usually stage left. And then...
Yeah. I'm in love with Asami from Love Bites. That's the singer.
See, I'm not real keen on the vocal style, which I know people love it, but and it's like the power metal thing, which
it's your typical power metal. The problem, it's not, the only thing that makes it not typical is that there's it's female fronted, right? A female vocals, and she sings better. I hate to say, she sings better than a lot of power metal singers, and she's very consistent. And even the live performances, it's surprising. But you're right, it's tiresome for me also because I can't listen to a shit ton of power metal. I love playing it. I played in a power metal band for a long time because like back then when I thought it was cool to be the best guitar player possibly can, so I'm shredding constantly. But it does get tiresome. But the thing that Love Bites that I like that shines out for me is when they switch it up. Oh my god, those songs that they switch it up, you're like, yes.
I think I need to check out some more to get a little bit more of that. because I know I only got like two or three, I think.
Yeah.
And God, there's another band. I got a bunch of videos I did that I got to put out yet. And there's one that was like a power metal band, but the singer, she was just singing kind of like not trying to be the heavy vibrato power metal vocals. It was just singing. And I'm like, this is awesome. I love this. There's a couple, the batch of reactions I got coming out, there's like a couple great discoveries in it.
Yeah.
So yeah, they get Nemophila. It's pretty fucking rad. I like them.
I like the reason why I like Nemophila a lot, and they're gonna be quickly one of my favorite bands for sure. I know, is because of her voice. It's that grunge style that's in there. They got a little bit, and they have
it's like in between.
Yeah, their live stuff is not the greatest. It isn't. But I know they'll get there. If I'm being honest, their live stuff is questionable, but they'll get there. I know they'll get there, but the recordings are great. And, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, but they got to do it live. I don't care. If the fucking recording sounds great.
They're a pretty young band, man.
They're a young band. They're going to get better, I think, live. I mean.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's just like with Psyche. I've heard some old Psyche on her own vocals that I was like, whoa, she's gotten tremendously better. Whereas kind of pitches were a little weird. I can't remember which video was that I saw. Eric showed me. He's like, dude, have you seen this? I'm like, damn, she's gotten better. It's like,
yeah.
I can't.
Oh, she has. Yeah.
I can't remember which video it was. I think the only person I haven't seen a really off-pitch bad performance of yet, which is surprising, but it's probably because they took them all down, is Sue. I haven't yet, but I could be wrong. I find it fascinating. And it's not like the crap on them, but we all have our days. Like, we all started somewhere, right? So there's always going to be those times where you find like those little gems out there, like, oh, somebody got caught like fucking up a little bit there. You know,
they weren't always perfect. Yeah,
they weren't always perfect. So I can't remember what video it was. Eric showed me. I was like kind of shocked. I was one of
the fan cam.
I don't know
videos.
No, it was like
a few of them I've seen where
it was her by
or
herself, I think. Yeah. But then we just watched that one acoustic live, and I'm just like,
shit, man.
I was like, wow,
dude,
I want that album. That needs to be an album. It needs to be on a CD so I can just get it. Cause
I hope they don't drag their feet on it, because that was amazing. That's one of the most impressive things I've seen.
Yeah. Glenn Kelly's mentioning Sue's voice is still maturing. And that's a really good point. Like I said, the latest concert that I saw was fucking phenomenal. Like, Sue's voice went from already great to phenomenal. Like, it's just getting better and better. She started very young, you know, like, and she's still working at it. That's the thing. And when you start learning new languages, like she is, when you start learning like different languages while doing vocals and doing all that stuff, all of that improves it. When you, like, I notice when I work on my Spanish, like,
it's like you're using
my
muscles
vocals get better. Yeah, like, because now you're forming different sounds. Like, it all goes in together. So that's why Sue's just growing quickly. You know, it's getting very quickly. But
how long has it been since they put out anything new? It's been a while, hasn't it?
It's been a while. They need to hurry up. For sure. They need to hurry up, put out something new. Oh, man. When's Bandmate coming out? I know they're about to tour here in the U.S. I cannot wait for that. I'm going to see The Warning also soon, but they just postponed that concert, so I'm going to Pennsylvania for that one. Have you heard The Warning? You did. I did see a reaction. Haven't watched it. What do you think of The Warning?
Yeah. It's just fucking great rock, dude. And I did Choke, and I got blocked, so I had to cut that out of the video.
It got blocked?
Yeah.
They released it for me. They released my reaction. But I emailed the label, too. Maybe that's why.
I just threw it up on the Patreon, and I just cut it out and let them know that, I had this on here, but I'd cut it out, so here's this one. But I was like, kind of like dumb over that song. Like, this is a great song. It's like a perfect rock song. The chorus, the vocal climb in that, when she hits the chorus, dude, it's fucking great.
You know what's so amazing about them is the fucking, that mix. Oh, Evolve was the one that we did about a month ago.
Yeah.
And we just did their Enter Sandman one, but Evolve was so good. You heard that song, right?
No, I haven't.
Oh my gosh, check it out when you can, man.
I think the only one I did before was a song where they were playing at a pretty small show and Paul was singing.
Guys, if you like BAND-MAID, honestly, check out The Warning. Seriously, if you like BAND-MAID, just check out The Warning. Give it a shot. You may not like it.
Yeah,
it's not as technical. It's not as technical as BAND-MAID, but they have a lot of hard rock like BAND-MAID's older stuff.
Well, it's like Bratz. Yeah. They're not as technical as BAND-MAID. They just don't sound like anybody else. But it's just really cool.
The cool thing with them is like they all could be lead singers in The Warning. They have their own thing. I think people that like BAND-MAID should give The Warning a chance. At least give them a chance. Check it out. Highly recommend them to you all listening. If you guys like baby metal and BAND-MAID and like it's good stuff. It's really good.
Yeah.
But
technicality shouldn't be like a prerequisite for whether you listen to a band or not. But when it's there, like there's bands like Winery Dogs. You ever listen to them?
No.
Okay, it's got Mike Portnoy from Dream Theater.
Oh.
Billy Sheehan and Richie Kotzen.
Oh wow.
So Billy Sheehan played with Mr. Big. He's like the Steve Vai of fucking bass. He's awesome. Yeah. And then Richie Kotzen is he's a fucking monster anyway. Great voice, great guitar. And I like their music's really, really good, but there's stuff I just skip. You know, they're all very technical players but that shouldn't be like a prerequisite. You know, I don't love them because they're technical. You can play some really technical stuff and it can be boring as hell. You know, I can only take so much sweep picking and tapping. It's like, okay, move on.
I love it when it's done with purpose, man. Like, you can't just like go shred crazy all over the place. For no reason. Like if I shred, it's like, I mentioned on the last one, like certain like fast picking might be for me like anger or something like that, or like or showing fluttery of emotions or stuff like that when I'm playing solos, and I use those techniques for very specific storytelling purposes. You know, when I go into a solo is how I look at them. But
yeah, if I'm improvising during like a blues solo or something, I'm like visualizing a conversation in my head.
Yes,
you know, depending on, might be between two different people, and you know, there's a question and answer, and I try and emulate that, and I don't know. Sometimes I just go off on shit I already know because you know, it just depends. But yeah, it should mean something.
Yep, absolutely. All right, man. We're gonna cut it here, guys, because I have to get ready to do another stream on Twitch. So, but I'd love to have you on again, man. This was a blast. I'd be down to have you on again. I know we're doing a big conversation with you and Wave and Champ of Medium on the 30th. We're going to be talking about some music news. We're going to be talking about what's going on in the Japanese music scene and other music scenes around the world. All four of us are going to be sitting there chilling, talking about what's going on in the music. And yeah, so make sure you join us on the 30th. I can't remember what time it was. Go check out Ryan's Patreon so you can help support him further and all that good stuff, guys. Yeah. And man,
if you're here because of me, check out Dicodec stuff. Get deeper into it. It's worth looking into. I was doing a lot of stuff. A lot of things happening.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. We should do a cover too sometime. We should do a collab.
That'd be great, dude. That'd be great.
I'd be down to do something like that. But Asamiana, guys. Talk to you all later.
Thanks, everybody.
Stay awesome.